The Dungeon of the Mad Mage is an epic adventure that takes an entire party from level 5 right the way through to level 20, one of only a few in 5th edition that does so. This adventure takes place in a massive underground complex known as Undermountain, lair of the Mad Mage, Halaster Blackcloak, all the way through 23 massive levels. So join us as we take a look at this adventure and we go beyond the screen. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Beyond the Screen. I am your humble DM, Tim, and today I'm being joined by a fellow DM and player, Fynn. Say hello, Fynn.
Hi, guys.
And today we're going to be talking about the Dungeon of the Mad Mage. More than 1,000 years ago, the wizard Halaster Blackcloak journeyed from a distant land to the base of Mount Waterdeep, perhaps acceding to the whispered summons of Providence. Some believe he hailed from a nearly forgotten empire known as the Cradle Lands. In ages past, humanity spread from the Cradle Lands across Faerun, originating from what is now the Plains of Purple Dust, a wasteland birthed out of the conflict of the gods. Others give Halaster's less ancient origins, placing him amongst the elderly wizards of Netheril, or asserting that he came from the southern nation long since buried by sand and time. Whatever his origin, scholars have recorded that Halaster brought with him 7 apprentices to Mount Waterdeep. Using his underground complex as a base of operation, Halaster travelled to other planes and distant lands, collecting strange and dangerous creatures to live as prisoners, servants, or guardians in Undermountain. Populating and defending the dungeon became an obsession. Over time, the mage's preoccupation with Undermountain electrified his eccentricities and infused him with an air of unconcealable madness. During the years Halaster quested on other planes and sequestered himself in his tunnels, his magnificent tower and its surrounding walls fell into ruin. In time, the city known as Waterdeep developed in the shadow of Mount Waterdeep and spread down to the harbour. As the city sprawled outward over the years, it came to the surrounds of the ruins of Halaster's home. Undermountain was known to those early settlers, and they often sent criminals into the endless depths as punishment. And so it was for many years until an intrepid adventurer named Durden delved into the labyrinth beneath the tower and returned alive, laden with riches and countless harrowing tales. Durden used his new fortune to demolish the remains of Halaster's tower and built an inn over the well he had used to descend into Undermountain, and call it the Yawning Portal. Durden owns and operates the inn and tavern to this day, serving patrons and inviting the brave and foolish alike to test their mettle in the Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Please be advised, there are spoilers ahead. You have been warned. So as you can see, this adventure sounds pretty intense from the outset. It gives you 23 levels from within the dungeon, each with their own detailed battle map. A very huge dungeon crawl in the true sense of the word. Now, Fynn, you have run through this adventure twice, I understand.
Yeah.
And I've run through it mostly once as a player. So let's say, just getting onto it, what's a highlight for you, or what do you say is probably the highlight of the adventure? The highlights for you.
Yeah, well, so the number one thing is I think the character of Halaster is just really great.
Yeah.
Very typical Mad Mage, but he's also like a god within his dungeon, but he's also not using his godlike power because he's having too much fun. He kind of, to me, he kind of represents a little bit of the DM, but because he is actually helping the players a lot of the time, but he also mostly is not helping them.
Yes. Yeah. From what I gathered in the playthrough, the fact that like you're saying, he has so much fun. He just likes playing with the players. So he is. Yeah. He is quite literally a dungeon master, but he's also a dungeon god in this aspect. Yes. So, Yeah, I'd say probably the highlight for me as a player, I think I would have to agree with you there. The character of Halaster, whenever he showed up, that was always like, oh crap, here we go.
He's always got a contribution to make.
Uh-huh.
Not a good one, but
Yeah,
something.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Cool. All right. Well, let's going on there with Halaster, because like the idea behind Halaster is the whole what was it? The knot in the weave. The fact that he's been driven mad by the power. He's gotten so much power from within his own domain, and that's what's causing him to go insane. So
Yeah, yeah, they've got a fair amount of history on the knot in the weave and why it happened. A lot of it isn't actually covered in this book, but you can find it in other sources and such.
Yeah.
Like long ago, I think elves messed up, broke the weave in that area, evacuated the area, but left the break behind.
Right.
And then Halaster found it, built the dungeon, and then people found that and built a city on top of it.
Yeah, because it was I believe it was Duradin, the owner of the Yawning Portal. He built his tavern over one of the entrances to Undermountain.
Yeah, using the riches he'd found within the dungeon.
Yes, exactly. He went on his adventure beforehand. Well, I guess that leads us into a nice segue to favorite levels within the dungeon, because, like I said, there are 23 of these of different levels.
Yeah.
I'll run
with
through.
That many, there's definitely a couple of duds.
Yeah, like you've got.
I skipped them on a second run. They were so.
Yeah, because when I joined in, we started off like I as Aurora joined in Willow Wood, which was the level with the druid and the dragon. But you've also got the arcane chambers, the Sargoth level, the twisted Shargoth. Oh yeah, Shargoth. I know. Yeah. Maggoth's Castle, Slither Swamp, Dweomercore, Muriel's Gauntlet, Troglodyte Warrens, the Maze level, Arcturia, Obstacle Course, Crystal Labyrinth, Sea Death, Vrakendoom, Caverns of Ooze, Ruststone Caverns, the Terminus level, the Shadow Dust Cold, and then the Mad Wizard's Lair. And, of course, Skullport, but that's... Isn't Skullport, like, earlier on, or is that just a different...
So Skullport is at the same level as the Sargoth level.
Right, that's what I thought.
In level 3, but it is off to the side, and there's no... it's not written the same as the levels, it's written more as a guide to a location. It's not a combat place, it's a place to rest.
Oh, okay, so it's your primary social encounter.
You can definitely engage in combat there. There's a fortress owned by Xanathar. It's just
nice.
Yeah, actually, my first playthrough, they decided to take them on because they'd had previous dealings with Xanathar.
Yes, because you said you'd run it back to back with Dragon Heist, and you're primarily dealing with the Xanathar Guild in that, if I understand correctly.
Well, Dragon Heist gives you a choice of 4 villains. I chose Xanathar because partly because I knew he synergized with Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Like, he's in... The other 3 don't relate to Dungeon of the Mad Mage at all.
Right. That makes sense. So, yes. So, out of all these, your favorite levels or least favorite levels as well, we can...
Yeah, so favorite... well, no, my favorite is going to be obvious. I think it's the obstacle course. I ran that at the game show.
Yeah. We ended up playing...
It's not for a new DM because it really encourages splitting the party.
Yeah, that the booby traps within the obstacle course with the random teleportation traps, which only work when people step on them, not when coins step on them. I think I was being so clever, but it kind of ended up working out that way because I'd throw a coin and then step on the space, and if the coin was still there, not to step there.
Yeah.
So it worked on the second run through, not the first.
Yeah. After obstacle course, actually there's a set of 3 like all in a row that I really like.
Oh yeah.
Level 16 Crystal Labyrinth. We didn't actually cover that much. We only spent a session in there, but that was
yeah. because
it's divided into two parts. You've got the Crystal Labyrinth, and then you've got Stardock, the
Stardock.
asteroid in space.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love actually the Crystal Dungeon and the Stardock. The Stardock, I think, is probably one of the again, that just goes right into my my sensibilities, because I love throwing sci-fi into D&D, and that gives you the Spelljammer locations as well as the Gith, and that's one of the things that actually I really did enjoy quite a lot about Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Is it has a lot of the backstory with the Gith Yankee, the Gith Zerai, and the Mind Flayers, because a lot of Mind Flayers. I really was not prepared for the amount of Mind Flayers and Gith that were in there. It was quite impressive.
That leads into this probably what is my second favorite level of Sea Deeps and Ultradeep. Fake city.
The VR simulation.
Yes.
Yeah. And I was actually curious about this, because when in our playthrough you hit us with the mind attack and stunned us all and knocked us all out, and then you showed up as Halaster saying go back up and level up. Now, was that actually written into...
No, see, there's a lot of little things like that in Dungeon of the Mad Mage, so I think it's a really good base for an adventure, but I think it needs editing. It doesn't make it... So I think what it says is something like players get knocked out, they wake up in Waterdeep, and they're like, how did this happen? It's not suspicious at all.
Okay.
that I did that the first time I ran it. They immediately were like, a Mind Flayer killed us, we know what happened.
Right. Okay, so...
So I didn't want to do that again.
I guess that's part of the advantage of running through an adventure twice. You can sort of make up for your past mistakes.
Yeah. In that case, it was also because I knew you were quite under-leveled, and I was worried I was going to kill you.
Yeah.
The whole battle.
Yeah.
So,
well, because that was the thing. We went. You jumped us from level 7 to level 14 of the dungeon very quickly. Like, we skipped almost half the dungeon, if I remember correctly.
From level 5 to level 18.
Level 5 to level 18. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Vrakendoom. Oh, sorry, we didn't go to Arcturia. Yeah, we went to Vrakendoom. Yeah, wow. That was...
Yeah, you ran away immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, that was... Yeah, well, that was when we encountered a whole bunch of shadow assassins, and never again will I look at my shadow the same again.
So that's a character level 9 to 15 jump.
Right, and we were only like level... Yeah, that was insane.
And I think at the time you weren't even level 9. I think you were level 8.
No, it was still only level 8. Yeah, we'd gotten to... I joined at level 8 in Willow Wood, and then was struggling to get...
You did actually get to the next level, lost level, and the problem there was a... So this isn't written in the book. It was something I added from the third-party supplement. A group of invisible stalkers that hunt everyone on the level, and the exits are all locked down. But the other players really didn't want to be on this level with all those monsters, so they went up to it, one of Halaster's gates, and were like banging on it. Let us out.
Yeah, yes, I remember. Yes, you were trying to get through the gates, yeah, and then what was it? He got the hands come out and broke his arm because he couldn't.
Yeah. Stop it.
Yeah, cut that crap out. That's right, because that's actually one thing I did quite like about the dungeon itself, is that it's not necessarily a straight progression, because there are ways to skip levels via the teleportation gates if you can work out the key to get them through.
So as written in the book, they have another thing. I don't like this edition, but I do get why they made it. There's a character who I didn't use in the campaign called Josira Kestelharp, and she was one of Halaster's apprentices. But I think Halaster tried to kill her because she tried to kill him. It was like a struggle. And in the process, he thought he killed her, but in reality, she'd been turned into a living wish spell, which is an interesting spell to be living.
Yeah.
And so she was hiding in Undermountain, and she can turn off the gates. Well, not turn them off, but she can prevent people from going through them. But that's the in-universe explanation anyway for why the gates require you to be a certain level before you can go through them.
Right. Okay. But you just abandoned that idea.
Well, I used that a little bit. That's why the gate wasn't working at first, but they kept on trying.
Yeah.
And also I thought from this point on, the next 6 levels or so are not very good. So.
So rather than waiting for us to level up and just grind through those things, like just get rid of that crap. So.
Basically, yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Well, there you go. So, again, that's I guess the advantage of being through it the first time. You know whether things are good or bad, because there are certain things that I find when you read through a section, it doesn't necessarily play the way that it reads. Sometimes sometimes something can read really, really interesting, but it plays horribly. So. Well, I guess that's probably a good segue as well into favorite characters. You have characters that you've removed out of there, so the favorite characters in the thing. I would say probably for myself, Captain Nagathrod was my personal favorite, the Mind Flayer pirate, because he's just awesome. Even though he betrayed me at every opportunity that he. Every opportunity. I know. It's like, dude, seriously. we had a deal.
Yeah, but the deal doesn't benefit him anymore.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, he's very good. I actually have a miniature of him.
Awesome.
I got it after I ran the level in real life. I just entered a Twitter competition, just like, I wonder, maybe I'll finally win something, and then I won it.
There you go.
Very surprised. Yeah, he's great. Obviously, Halaster is also great.
Of course.
Willow, I think, is just a really interesting character because she's the druid from level 5.
Mm-hmm.
Because she thinks that she's a really good person, but she's xenophobic. Entirely, like the epitome of lawful stupid, kind of. No, not even that. Just anything that could harm nature, bad.
Yeah.
Even if they're good, even if they're all right, she just won't tolerate it.
Mm-hmm. Because there's she doesn't like the were rats on the level, if I remember correctly.
Were bats.
Were bats. So.
Yeah, there were were rats there as well, but they were brought by the players.
Hey, because this was where I showed up. Because it's one thing I wasn't expecting when I came in to thing was just to be like, cool, here you go. Because my introduction to as Aurora was Aurora shows up completely dazed and confused, no idea where he is, and a bunch of people just said, hey, we're gonna go kill a witch, do you want to come with us? I was like, sure. Like, there's no like, you find this bard, disheveled or whatnot, just like, you're just here now. So it was quite literally jumped into the campaign. So
yeah, that's something I think works really well with Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Less well with other campaigns, because you can just hand wave a lot of things away by saying Halaster did it for fun.
Yeah, exactly. That was the reasoning, is that he just he went, I like this bard. He's had some fun in Avernus. Let's just throw him into the dungeon and see what happens. So, and then of course the was it the dragon and Terra Louis. That was
actually level 5 Willow Wood is really a standout for characters because it has both of them. I don't think there's apprentices of Halasters that can be presences, but they're not written in the book as that, and I didn't really want to work with them because they're both tier 4 threats and they had no reason not to kill you as soon as they met.
Yeah. It's always the trick with things like that.
I think there is one level. Although we're talking about characters, let me figure it out. I do think the characters are quite good though. Arcturia's character can be told just from her level. Like, you can feel she loves polymorphing things, messing with things.
Yes, yeah. Arcturia Doom, the real mad scientist laboratory.
See, we never got to the only level that I would have liked to get to, because you got to the point where you were better off actually heading back down you're at the high enough level that it was no longer a threat.
Yeah, because we ended up on level 18.
14. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we ended up at level 18. Then we went back up because we found out that it was too dangerous. Then we ended up in the maze level. Then we ended up going back down.
With the obstacle course, yeah.
Yeah, so the obstacle course. Yeah, we went into the obstacle course, then we went back down, if I remember.
There is actually a separate level called Maze Level.
Oh, of course, yes. So wasn't. Yes, it's true.
Yeah, you never went there. But the one directly above Arcturia Doom is called Trobriand's Graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Arcturia Doom is for Arcturia, except for Trobriand. It's full of constructs that want to destroy you, basically.
Okay, cool. Well, since we're kind of going on all that, and you've been through all the levels, and I haven't, just to backtrack a little bit, it might even just be ideal. Why don't we just run through each of the levels one at a time? We can just talk about things. So, level 1, dungeon level.
Dungeon level's got a nice idea, but it's like I get what they were going for, but it's empty because other adventurers have moved through it hundreds of times, thousands of times every day. Adventurers move through a dungeon level. That's not written into the adventure. Like, I think they should have added in a couple of rooms that have adventurers camping in them or looking around for treasure, failing because there's nothing down there.
Yeah. Or even just like some you can have like low level adventurers that like even just like teenagers that think they're awesome because they're surviving down here, but really
Another thing that annoys me about it, the shape of the map means that if you go up, there's only one way back to the actual exit. So if you first move north, you're wasting your time.
Right.
You're not going to get it. There's nothing up there.
Mm-hmm.
And so my first group did that, and they just got to the end and were like, oh, okay, guess we went the wrong way. Back we go.
Yeah.
Actually, there's one of my favorite traps because you have to be really, really dumb to fall for it. There's a bowl, and in it is a shriveled tiefling heart. And it's a magic item that you can attune to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like, it's... Yeah, I don't think it's particularly hidden, or it might be behind a room, like behind a secret door.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you tune to it, it switches with your heart and kills you instantly.
It's like
and your heart becomes a shriveled black
husk in the bowl.
Anyway, the first group I went through, 2 of them split from the party and went in there, and one of them was like, "Oh, a magic item, epic,
hell yeah, we got a magic item."
He tuned to it, and so then he brought in his next character.
All right, level 2, Arcane Chambers. What do we know about this one here?
Yeah, wait, hold on a second.
Rust monsters is the artwork.
Yeah.
The bane of every low-level adventurer. Your armor and weapons go away if they're not magical.
I'm just checking that heart is literally just in a box in an open room.
In a box in an open room. Nice.
Yeah.
The best kind of trap, one that's...
Oh, right, yeah, actually no, because if you open the box, not only do, like, you see the heart, but then the acid above you falls on, there's like a pool of acid floating in the air. If you open the box without the key, it all falls on you.
It actually drops down and you get burnt.
The room is sloped down, so you can't escape easily.
Right. Actually sounds quite, that reminds me quite a lot of the, there's a trap in the Tomb of Horrors, which is like that. You go down a corridor and you hear merriment and singing and dancing behind this door. You open the door and there's nothing in there, but you see light at the end of the tunnel. And then when you step into it, it counterweights, seals the door up so you can't actually get out and just slide you into a lava pit. So
Nice.
Yeah. All right, cool. So let's go. Let's move on to Arcane Chambers. What's of interest in this level, if anything? So these are Drow and Were-Rat gang. I see. This is obviously where they got the Were-Rats.
Yeah. Oh yes, actually that does lead off some dungeon level. The first level does have a bit about Xanathar as a little outpost, which my players did actually interact with rather peacefully on our run.
Yeah.
On the first run they killed everyone because they were enemies with Xanathar. But they don't really do much in the first level. Oh, and I've just remembered someone from the first level that I'll double back to in a minute.
Okay.
Because they relate to this next level. Actually, I'll say them now. So, on the first level, there is a pit, and inside the pit, there's a revenant been thrown in there by his friends. They killed him because he wanted to have a share of the treasure, I think. Okay. They're not good adventurers.
No, obviously not, no.
Yeah, and he was angry enough that he came back as a revenant, and if the players help him out of the pit, he will join them for a spell as they move into the second level.
Because he to track down his.
Yeah, the three of them have split up. They're all on the they're all in the arcane chambers.
Right.
There is one back on dungeon level, but he usually escapes, and the revenant doesn't want vengeance on him because he left before.
Right.
Other things on the second level, there is a goblin market, which I thought was very interesting. They've set up a whole little society where they sell stuff to dungeon goers and the Xanthar Guild. On my second run through of the game, they didn't go in that room, so they never met them.
Oh, it's a shame.
On the first run, they did, but they didn't really do much there. They were kind of suspicious of the goblins.
I don't trust them.
The were-rats. They work for a dark elf who works for Xanathar.
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely interesting enough. My players just killed the dark elf and then hired the were-rats because they're kind of work for the highest bidder.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Other than that, I don't think the levels, like the first few levels, really aren't special. They're dungeon crawl.
Yeah,
this one's better because it does have more creatures. There's stuff to fight.
Yes.
But it continues something that is a general problem with the dungeon, is that as written, there's not a lot of magic items in it. Obviously, when you're running that, you can just add them in.
Add stuff whatever as you want, yeah.
But when you're running it in Adventurers League, like I did the first time, you're not allowed to make changes like that.
That would be a problem.
Quite weak.
Yeah. Sarguth level. That's like a weird witchy type people.
There are witches there, but they're not actually the main groups. There's two other groups that take up most of the level. There's actually a whole town, the Legion of Azrock, of hobgoblins, bugbears, and goblins that have set up. And they used to occupy the old rooms throughout the level, but then dark elves from further down in the dungeon, from level 10, I think, fought their way up and made an encampment, driving the goblins out of some of the town. And now the two groups are at war. This was the first time the party had a real test of combat because they decided to take the whole town all at once. They had two goes at it. The first time they fought like 5 dark elves, a warrior, and the warrior's pet, Chimera.
Right.
The big monster.
Yeah.
They managed to kill that, but decided to retreat because they were outmatched. Most of them decided to retreat. Our good friend Percy thought he could get away with killing one, and they captured him.
Yes, Percy is forever the troublemaker.
The rest of the party came back at it, try and win again. At that time, they were more able to because they brought their were-rats. Kind of used them as tanks because it turns out were-rats are immune to non-magical weapons.
Mm-hmm. As all
Dark elves don't really have magic weapons.
Yeah.
So they were able to win that time. Percy had escaped. So that plot point isn't written into the adventure, but it's written into the companion third-party thing I used.
Mm-hmm.
It is written that they're using humans as incubators for giant spider eggs.
Yes, as we discovered to our what's the word I'm looking for?
Dismay.
Sorry?
Dismay?
Dismay, thank you, yes. Classes are seeing straight.
There is also a quest on that level that the players received, which is to find and retrieve the hobgoblin. So the hobgoblin leader is blind. He was born blind, but his mother made a dagger that granted him blind sight.
Right. Yeah.
Durgar stole that from him, and they got a quest to return it to him. They never found it, and they weren't planning on returning it anyway. But...
It's always the thing about being a real scumbag when it comes to to adventurers in Dungeons and Dragons. He's like, just be friendly, you know. Just you still get your rewards. You can't take the stuff home with you. It's not real. So. I mean, I can kind of understand like greed to a point, but it does get to a point sometimes in adventures where you're like, just why?
In this case, it kind of made sense. It's a dagger that gives blindside. They wanted to keep for themselves.
Yeah,
but they were planning on returning and killing him, so for no good reason.
For no good reason. Yeah, just why not? He goes, blind man, here, I stab you with what allows you to see. Enjoy.
They've actually also got the first Mind Flayer on that level, which is supposed to conflict with the players when they find that the goblins are feeding the Mind Flayer random people. But sometimes they don't find out, sometimes they don't care. Because they're goblins.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, the sea hags don't make a massive impact on the level unless you meet them, and they're actually kind of friendly.
Oh, like, there you go.
You can be allies with them without issue.
As part of the thing that I always like to do with villains in general is to don't make them such like type evil, because it's too obvious. If you make them seem somewhat friendly and reasonable, it actually makes it a bit more interesting. Like one thing that I managed to do, just other story somewhat related to that point, was running Curse of Strahd. Is when they had dinner with him and he was explaining the situation, how the villagers had been rallied into a frenzy by this wizard, and he had to defend himself and kill her. It was very regrettable. I didn't want to kill my citizens, but they forced my hand. The wizard riled them up, and I don't know where the wizard is. If you could deal with this lizard, if you could deal with the wizard, yeah, that would be fantastic. So at one point they were actually working for Strahd because of that, which actually worked out quite well. Yeah. But then they met the wizard and worked out who he was, and like, oh, now it all makes sense. So, but I like that ambiguity when it comes to to characters in D&D, because it's always that that saying that everyone is the hero of their own story. So you should always make it so they're coming from a place where it makes sense for them to act the way that they are, and not just because I'm evil. So
that makes a great segue to level 5, which we're not segueing to.
No. Well, we could skip. Twisted Caverns, Otiuds.
One other thing I do like about Stardock level is the introduction of Dark Elves. I think Dark Elves are probably the best. Like, vanilla book, Dark Elves are the best written villains in the book, because they're brought in early and they're brought in frequently until level 12. And you can really feel that, like, you can tell that these Dark Elves are not concerned with you as much because they're busy dealing with the other family of Dark Elves that is trying to take over.
Right.
There's two sets fighting each other.
So in that respect, it actually presents the dungeon as an actual place where things are going on. So it actually feels like a place that is actually alive and people actually live here. You're not just you don't just show up and start kicking in doors and people don't even realize that you're there, essentially.
Yeah, there's two things that really give that. There's the Dark Elf fight, and then there's the Yankee Mind Flayer fight.
Yes.
Pyro.
Yeah.
Anything that spans multiple levels really does help the dungeon tie together. And I think the dungeon could have done with more of that.
Mm-hmm.
But on to level 4, which is the opposite of what you were saying. There's an Aboleth here. And he's just evil because...
Well, aboleths are that's sort of their thing. I mean, for the most part, they're kind of insane as well, because they because they've lived for so long and they keep on absorbing the minds of all the people that they kill. So
this level is just the stage for the Aboleth to take control. It's really just fight Aboleth, which is actually quite good because it does it really well. There's a river running through the level, and you'll like the river is tainted by the Aboleth's presence. You can tell it's poisoned. Everything in the vicinity is not great. There's some slightly sick Dark Elves, I think. Now, I think I really upped it again with the companion. The Dark Elves were like dying. There was maybe 4 of them left.
Right.
Because the Dark Elves expedition extends here as well. It's the same ones from the level above. But then when you get to the Aboleth, he's in a room which is entirely water, except for a small island in the middle. You can't get to it without swimming, but you will have to go there because he probably enslaves one of you. And then he can hide underwater, hitting you with tentacles from below, while his minions, he's got a pair of Trulls, the big crabby things.
The crab things, yeah.
Yeah, and you can't hide from them because they can detect the magic on you.
Right.
So your cloak of Elvenkind won't help you here.
Yeah, it's lighting you up like a beacon. It's like, I'm hidden, yes, but there you are, glowing in the dark.
Yeah, so both times I've run this, the Aboleth has almost caused a TPK. Well, I think that's good though.
Yeah.
It's just it's a real threat. It has lair actions, it has legendary actions. I don't know if Aboleths are used in other adventures much, but I think this might be the best one in a written D&D product.
I know of one other Aboleth in Tomb of Annihilation.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that one, so it could be the same or better.
The way that one works is this Aboleth is actually insane. It actually has split personality.
Oh yes, I've heard of him.
Yeah, so you've got a 50-50 chance of running into Happy Aboleth or Murder Aboleth when you come down to the fight. So
so this one's not characterized much. He's a fight. You're in for it if you're fighting him.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And then cool thing about this one is to get to the next level, you actually have to go down the river. So you need to get a pair of rafts, which the Dark Elves helpfully left behind.
Oh, there you go.
Well, I mean, they didn't leave it for you, but you steal it.
Yes, they just happened to be there. As all good adventurers do, they will acquire whatever it is that they find.
They'll reappropriate.
Reappropriate. Thank you. That's what I was looking for.
Yes. And then, so that's that level.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I should mention, kind of an honorable mention, I guess. I'm pretty sure it's this level. Yeah, there's a tribe of Kuatoa, which are just a great monster.
Yeah.
They actually worship the Aboleth, but it's like half the Aboleth, half Halaster. They have a bit of his head.
Right.
Yeah, they don't really contribute much, but they're kind of they're funny. You know?
Yes. Anything that you can characterize, add a bit of humor is always a good point. All right, so we're up to where Aurora showed up. Willow Wood.
Willow Wood, yes. Willow Wood's really one of my favorite levels. Definitely the best one at the start. Mostly by the NPCs, but also just the idea of the level. Yeah, there's a forest underground. It goes for miles to the west. Biggest level in the dungeon.
Oh, really? I suppose it actually. Yeah, looking at that map now. Yeah, because every square is 10 foot. Yeah, I mean the other maps were pretty expansive, but yeah, looking at this, you're right.
It's not even just that each square being 10 feet, but to the west, to Area 2E doesn't stop there. It continues with no events. But it's still...
Oh, right. So it just keeps on...
Yeah.
Keeps on going.
Oh, so not miles. It's several hundred feet, but it's still definitely a very big level.
Yeah. So as we were discussing before, there's the two main characters on the level. Yeah. There's Willow, and then there's... Well, three...
Voldemort.
Sorry?
Valdemar is the name of the dragon.
The dragon, and then Terralui, the sentient sword embedded in his skull, which I have to say I loved that as a character concept. It didn't even occur to me that the sword was the one that was actually doing the talking until the sword came out and the dragon got angry. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Just the combination of the three characters that play off each other. Because Willow likes Terralui, but Willow does not like Valdemar. Valdemar does not like Terralui or Willow. And Terralui likes Valdemar because Terralui likes to be in Valdemar.
Be in a drag, yeah. So you got this very posh sentient sword who's like, oh, I'm enjoying using your body. It's great. Just deal with it. Now, actually, the other question: what was the crazy barbarian dude? Was he in this level, or was that?
So he's not written in the Dungeon of the Mad Mage. He's
right. So Edward was one of your inventions, or?
Yeah, well, he wasn't even my invention. We had a player leave just before you joined. He wasn't actually playing Edmund when he stopped, though. So he was playing Edmund, but it quickly became obvious that Edmund was lawful good, and the rest of the party was not.
Right.
And he didn't want to play Edmund as a bad guy, so he decided just to have Edmund leave.
Fair enough.
Edmund took all his stuff with him because Edmund did not like the party. Did not trust the party.
Yeah, understandable.
And then trying to remember, he came back for some reason. I think he succumbed to the Knot on the Weave. Being in the Dungeon of the Mad Mage does that to you.
Yes.
Barbarians don't do great, and it accelerates and what's that word? Increases character traits, including flaws like that. It got to the point where anything that he considered evil needed to be completely purged.
Yes, he sort of, because later on in the whole, like when we ran into him in Arcturia Doom, he was, still, again, he was still just as crazy as before because he was just wanting to kill the, he's like, everything must die! Is it evil? Yes, he must die then. I think we convinced him that he was evil, so he had to kill himself in the end, or something like that, wasn't it?
I think because I remember Jermaine decided, okay, the group must be trying to fight him, and attacked him, and no one helped him.
That's right. No, sorry, I'm thinking of the angel way further down that Aurora managed to convince was actually evil, so he had to kill himself. But
actually, that angel, I'll get to that. But
we'll get to it. Yeah.
Just that, because Willow is possibly, I think, second to Halaster for characterness. Because she's like the epitome of hero of her own story. She really does think she's a good guy.
Yeah, but she doesn't suffer any affront to what she deems the balance of nature, but her own equivalent of it.
Yeah, she had there's actually quite an extensive backstory in there about her falling in love with a friend of Halaster's, some wizard. Halaster decided that he wanted a druid in his dungeon, so he set up a level for her. The relationship didn't work out. She killed the wizard. And then she blamed other people for the wizard.
Right.
Later, she fell in love again with a human. Halaster mind controlled him into turning against Willow. So she thought he betrayed her. She killed him. She got really more insane. And then the ghost of, I think, that human or that wizard, I think it might be the wizard, is still around as a Will-o'-the-Wisp, which the party did not find.
Yeah, I don't remember finding anything like that.
It was like a session before you came in, because it has one job, which is follow me. My wand of fireballs is buried here.
It's like, here, use this to blow up the forest.
Yeah.
Nice.
This
But
level also completely reverses the problem from the past 4 levels where you've gotten maybe 2 magic items and gives you a wand of fireballs and a sword of sharpness, both of which are really good.
a sentient sword of sharpness with the ability to cast polymorph,
Yeah.
and a bunch of other bits and pieces. But I think the main use that Aurora found for him was the true sight ability.
Yes.
I see everything. Yeah. No, but well, yeah, I will agree. I mean, jumping into the campaign from Willow Wood was actually for me it was actually a good starting point because,
Yeah.
like I was saying, I don't think I missed anything in the.
No. And from something about the first 2 levels, I'm not sure what it is. It might just be both times I've done it. Like you're always starting with a new group, but you move slower through boring levels.
Yeah.
And they're not. It can be a slow start. Like you could even consider skipping or removing, like hand waving the movement through the dungeon level and even the arcane chambers, depending on what you want.
Or you could even do like what you did with me to say that Halaster went, cool, here you go. So you get a bunch of random people just wake up one day and they've just been thrown into a room. You could almost start it up like the movie Saw. Everyone's chained to different walls, and Halaster comes on. I'd like to play a game.
Making Halaster significantly scarier.
Hello, adventurers. I'd like to play a game. In this dungeon, you will find several keys that will allow you to escape.
There is a character like that. We skipped him, but I'll get to him.
Oh, we'll get to him. All right, cool.
So level 6 is the lost level.
Mm-hmm.
One fun thing that I think is really cool is from level 5 you can actually go directly to level 7, and that's the normal entrance. But a Umber Hulk at some point burrowed through level 5 to level 7 and went through level 6. So you can actually skip level 6 just by walking to level 7, or you can go to level 6 and then to level 7.
Right. That's one thing I did. I think I said it before. That I did quite like about the way this dungeon is set up. Is there is linear progression, but you don't necessarily have to follow it.
Yeah, actually, we could take a break to talk about the gates because I think they were a very good idea.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, there's not much to say about them. They're gates. I do like. There's actually 3 kinds of gates. It wasn't hugely obvious because I mostly describe them as gates, but there are differences.
Oh, okay.
Most of them are arch gates, so they're carved into a wall. They're just arches, usually set in bricks, all the way up with a symbol on the keystone or on the side stones. Sometimes there'll be a slightly different material or shape, but overall they're on the walls. Second type of gate are mirror gates, which you wouldn't have seen any. They always go to level 10.
Right.
They're just a wall-mounted mirror, ovoid or rectangular, in a carved stone frame. They're the same kind of gates, but they look like a mirror when you find them. Mm-hmm. And then the final gates, which you found, I think, mostly on level 23, although there was one on level 19 that went to level 17. Standing gates.
Yeah, that was the
standing stones or pillars that you can walk through.
Yeah, there was the one with you had to shoot the arrow through it to get to.
Yes, from level 17 to level 19.
Yeah, the one.
And then I think the others were mostly on level 23, the ones that exited Undermountain, like the one to Icewind Dale.
Right. Yes, which I think is actually a cool mechanic that they've added in there. I'm not sure whether that was intentional or not, but it actually allows you to skip out from the dungeon and go to Rime of the Frost Maiden if you really want to use the same characters.
Yeah. Although you might have trouble because by that time you're level 19 or 20, so you're going to steamroll the campaign.
Well, just make them suffer from 5 points of exhaustion the entire time. It's really cold. So...
Focus a long rest or you'll die. One thing I didn't use because I used it occasionally mostly because I kind of forgot it was a thing at first. The gates, whenever a gate opens, an Elder Rune appears on it. Elder Runes Halaster's such a good wizard that he's discovered how to use a advanced kind of glyph called an Elder Rune. There's 9 of them total, and each one has a bane or a boon effect. And when you set one up, you can choose, or you can make it random. Halaster always makes his random. There's a variety of them. They're mostly things like the Rune of Fire, the Rune of Security is one. There's 9 total, but I do like how one of them is the Rune of Halaster. Got his own rune.
Yeah, because I think Aurora got hit with 2 of those.
Yeah.
He got hit with one where he had to accept everything. He had to argue disagree with everybody for the next day, and the other one was that I got advantage on anyone, or I could make a miss, a hit, something like that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think it was the positives of security. Yeah.
But yeah, the lost level, because I actually had to read through this earlier on. It just seems to be a Duergar temple, isn't it?
Yeah, no, lost levels. It was originally regular dwarves, but a group of thieves, raiders of Clan Iron Eye, have made their way to this level and are stealing stuff.
As they do.
Yeah, and they're just stealing stuff. That's all there is to it. They're
And you've got the Umber Hulk can show up randomly to attack you as you're moving through it, if I remember correctly.
Yes. There's a few Umber Hulks just making their way around, and then so the companion that I used, the third party thing, adds in making that into a bit of a horror level. Halaster locks the doors and unleashes a band of like 20 invisible stalkers, run around killing people. Very quiet place, like, because you can't see them coming. Oh, obviously that didn't work when you had Terra Louie.
No, yeah, it's like, I see them coming. It's like, where is it? Just point me in this direction.
The standout of this level, the Duergar are all right. They can be friendly. The Duergar here are the ones who have that dagger of blindside. If you're going to want to return that,
right.
Fight them for it. The other thing is something I really like. Area 28 has a hidden. Let me just get this up so I can read it properly.
Yeah.
Make sure I get that right. Yeah. So first you get to Area 28. There's a tomb with this glowing pillars around a big thing, and it says, "Our king is with the gods. Here lies bones." Sarcophagus. It's a fake. Okay. He's not that silly. You find a secret door, and you sneak through that to find another tomb. Yes, this tomb. There's a marble sarcophagus, and if you open it, 10 battle axes break from the walls and attack you. Swords.
You get flying knifed.
Yeah.
Very Stephen King.
Then you did it. Ha ha ha. But wait, that wasn't the real tomb either. There's another secret door.
Double false tombs?
With a door in it at the end. And you open that door and walk in, and there's a pit trap, and you fall in there. You can climb out of that. Maybe.
That's what I'm looking at.
Actually, no, because if you stay in the pit for at least a minute, the door slams back shut and it's really hard to open.
Right. It's one of those ones. Yeah, I'm looking at you've got False Tomb, then the Lost Tomb, then the Interstitial Hall, the second Interstitial Hall, and then Gods and Demons. So.
No, but then after that, there's a hidden alcove that heads into the final tomb.
Right. True Tomb, yes, 29F. So. I think at one point he's like, you know what? Screw it. This is just too much trouble. So.
And because the final tomb, it's not clear that there is a final tomb. It kind of just looks like there's a secret room behind the final tomb. And there's a demon in there. Like, the statues are secretly demons, and they'll say, break us free and we'll tell you where the real tomb is. Which, for my first group, went, oh, thanks for letting us know there's a real tomb. They found it.
I think actually, it's looking at that. That's kind of clever, actually, if you think about it, because if you give 2 false tombs and they get to the third tomb, they're going to think to themselves, "Oh, then maybe this is not the real one. There's another secret door. I've got to keep going." They're just go through infinite secret doors and you'll eventually find the actual thing, but then you get to the fourth one and boom, that's the demon trap. So
other than that, there is a secret, not a secret room. There's in the center of this level is the heart of the mountain, which is it's a room where you can ask Undermountain questions.
Ah, interesting.
Not the knob, as far as I remember. It's not a bad thing. It basically just lets you cast legend lore.
Yeah, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's kind of assumes later on that you have gone there.
Right.
This level has a lot of links to other levels. This is the origin of the word Zunderbrock, which never came up in our group.
No, that never came up in our game.
In 3 or 4 rooms throughout the dungeon, saying the word Zunderbrock causes secret treasure to reveal itself.
Oh, there you go.
I don't think you did. I think it was Percy found a room with words carved into soot that said Zunderbrock, and he just looked at it and went, "Okay," and then left. It didn't mean anything to him.
Yeah, he's like, whatever. Who's that person?
Yeah, that's that for the lost level.
Mm-hmm.
And then from here we went to level 18.
Yeah, we skipped. We went through to 18. So we can just burn through quickly the.
Yeah, well, some of these are quite good. Level 7 is pretty good. Mad Goth's Castle. So to start with, it just seems like a regular-ish level. It's a bit small. There are 4 stone giants walking around, and they're friendly enough. They greet you, but you'll notice if you stay here long that they forget about you pretty soon. They have all got short-term memory loss or whatever it is.
Yeah. So they can only remember. They have no short-term memory.
12 hours of memory or something.
Yeah.
Because of Halaster, of course.
Of course.
The other thing you notice, but only if you go into the center of the big cavern in the middle, because it's really far away. There is a castle, a miniature little castle floating in the air atop a really big needle.
Mm-hmm.
But it's specifically outside of dark vision range.
I love things like that. It's like, yes, use a torch, damn it. Get those drift globes.
Yes. And once you go up there, you shrink down to get in. So you fly up and you shrink automatically when you get near the door, and then you can go in.
Oh, that's cool. So it's sort of like you're going up the spire, and as you go up, the spire remains the same size, but it's actually getting pointier. Yeah. But it's actually the same equivalent size because you're shrinking to the same level.
Yeah, and there's no stairs though. You have to fly up.
You got to fly up, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Once you get there, it's kind of creepy. There's invisible servants everywhere. As you look around, you get more and more signs. Basically, a serial killer lives there.
Okay.
So, he's got a couple of dead bodies chained up in rooms.
Good Lord.
Explosions where people used to be. And he has a room with a coffee table. So he's a wizard, and he only kills other wizards.
Right.
His coffee table is made of other wizards' spell books.
Oh, jeez. So it's like from Seinfeld, the coffee table book that's also a coffee table.
And yeah, that's interesting. Now, as it's written, Mad Goth, the name of the wizard, isn't actually there. The companion has him return during the while the players are there. I would have done that as well if you've got.
Yeah, because it's sort of like the whole idea of being in a place where someone lives and then you realize how dangerous this person is. Having them not show up is kind of boring, really.
Yeah. The book has a vague recommendation of maybe if you come back here, he's back. I think it might even say if you want, bring him back during the. No, it says specifically after they depart.
After they depart, of course, yeah.
There's a couple of interesting magic items on this level, both unique to Dungeon of the Mad Mage.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Helm of Mad Goth in his castle. While you wear the Helm of Mad Goth and you're in Mad Goth's castle, you're immune to all damage.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the first move he makes if he returns
is going for the helmet, of course. Why wouldn't you? Jeez.
And the second thing he doesn't is it's not there as written. It's on him. He wears a horned ring, which allow you to ignore Undermountain's magic item, magic restrictions.
Yes, yeah, that's what one of the one of the things, like I had a brief read through it after we finished the campaign. Yeah, the horn rings were actually on quite a few different people that would have allowed people to teleport out, if I remember correctly.
I think Mad Goth, Arcturia, Arcturus, Trobriand, Halaster, obviously, and I think what's his name, Nestor or something, one of the other apprentices who failed it.
Right.
Oh no, that's it. Ezat has one.
Ah, right.
I forgot about Ezat. He's great as well. All right, next we've got Slither Swamp. Slither Swamp is Slither Swamp. Mm-hmm. It's a swamp.
It's a swamp with lots of slithering in it.
It has two spirit nagas and a bone naga, who was formerly a spirit naga who died.
Yep, snake peoples or snake things. Oh, and some bullywugs.
The UNT are all dead.
Yeah.
The bullywugs are still alive, but they all work for the snakes. If the players get here, the main threat is that the snakes have a rod of rulership that they attempt to take control of the players with.
Oh.
They've got a whole little thing where they gather everyone up once per day.
Yep.
Into like a big cavern, and they cast it on everyone in the cavern.
Oh, to keep the spell working. Yeah.
Yeah, and anyone who doesn't get caught gets thrown in jail for a day.
It's a good way to keep your subjects in line. It's like, everyone in here, behave. Are you not behaving? Into the jail cell.
There is, I think, a bullywug chief, like the old chief. He's not really. He's just a guy.
Yeah.
I think the first party I ran through this killed the snakes and then went and killed him as well. Because he was also evil.
Right. Well, okay, that's fair enough. Then if he's evil,
he's a slad.
Slad. Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, he's a demon then. Hell yeah. So
yeah,
demon devil. I can never get those right. I always get those two mixed up because they're not the same thing. That's the.
Which one?
Demons and devils. They're not the same thing in D&D.
Yeah,
no.
I usually think of it just by devils make deals. But demons say they make deals and then rip you apart when you're not looking.
Do we have a deal? Yes. Yes. For your life.
Okay, next you've got Dweomercore. Dweomercore is a really interesting level. It's Hogwarts, but evil.
Evil Hogwarts, that's even better.
Yeah, so there's like 10, there's 7 students given that are all various shades of evil, along with like 3 or 4 teachers, including one of Halaster's apprentices, and what looks like Halaster is the headmaster, but it's actually someone disguised as Halaster with Halaster's permission.
I'd say, with his written permission or no? So,
I mean, yeah, we saw what happened to copyright thieves.
Did we?
Ultradeep.
Oh, yes, in Ultradeep. Yes, of course.
Yeah, and the thing about Dweomercore, though, this happened in my first game. The headmaster comes to you and is like, "Oh, hello, would you like to enroll?" And if you say no, he goes, "All right, I'll lead you to the exit."
Oh, all right, you just go out. That's it. That's the level.
You just continue, yeah.
Okay, fair enough then.
That's what the party did. They're like, "Okay, thanks."
All right, cool, thanks. All right. Level 10 then. So
Level 10.
Yeah, so I do kind of like that as an aspect. The fact that he goes, "Do you want to play?" No. All right, whatever. So, no skin off my nose.
Yeah. Level 10 is Mural's Gauntlet. This is where you meet Halaster's first apprentice, Mural. I didn't use him at all, actually, because you hadn't met him. He was one of Halaster's original 7, formerly a fighter, but he learned like polymorphing magic, so he could turn himself into a giant scorpion monster while still being a fighter.
That's right. I think I've got the miniature of that guy. Is that the yellow scorpion like Drider type thing? Yeah.
The other thing about Mural's Gauntlet is that it's infested with dark elves from the same group as the ones that have been met so far.
Right.
And this one actually has a full-on priestess as the leader, I believe. Maybe she's not the priestess stats because they're really powerful. but this is where they live, and they are like here. You can really feature that they are fighting the other Dark Elves.
Right.
Well, not this level so much. You get that on level 11 where they're both fighting each other.
Yeah, but this is where you sort of realize they've got the two factions. You get to see the other side of it, right?
And you also find that Muriel is killing them, so they want you to get rid of him.
Fair enough. So this one just looks like a, like I said, the gauntlet type thing. So you meet up with the Dark Elves. You got like a Dark Elf city, and then there's just the fight essentially if they want to be tested by. Yeah.
Or you can fight the Dark Elves and then fight Muriel.
Yeah.
One thing I do. Let me just make sure it was this level. Yeah. I forgot to mention this for the other level, but one of the areas in this room actually has a hole in the roof that goes back up to Dweomercore.
Oh yeah, the one where the Umber Hulk tunneled through.
Yeah, a bit like that, but it's not. It's like a proper carved hole, I think, or maybe that was a different level. Actually, I think that's somewhere else.
Right.
I remember it, but maybe I'm misremembering. Oh, it's here, perhaps. It's somewhere. Maybe not here.
Be holes in the dungeon. There's a hole in the dungeon. I thought you'd like to know.
One thing that my players were most happy about this level was that there was a suit of mithril plate armor, which is really good in Adventures League.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So it doesn't count as a proper item or something.
Oh, okay.
It was cheap. It was cheaper at the time to buy.
Right.
It was like the only way to get plate affordably.
Yeah, because like plates, almost prohibitively expensive. It's like 2,000 or so gold to begin with, isn't it?
Yeah. And in Adventures League, you have to earn that gold. 75 gold pieces per session.
Yeah.
You're not getting it.
Mm-hmm. But not until you're level 20, at least, anyway.
Yeah. I think level 11 is probably the weakest level. It's called Troglodyte Worms, and that's what it is. There's some troglodytes.
Troglodytes here. It's a very complicated map, so...
Yeah, but it's also very empty.
There's
troglodytes, like 2 areas, and then the rest of it is just mushroom forest. There is a Behir. It's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
Lightning breath and all that, but it has nothing. Like, you kill it and you go, oh, I wonder what's in its treasure hoard. Nothing.
I
mean, coins, but we can't eat coins.
Yeah. You can eat the Behir instead. So.
There's some Dark Elves here, and then level 12 is the maze level. This one has Minotaurs in it, which is kind of neat, especially with the maziness of the level.
Well, yeah, exactly. If you can't really have a maze without Minotaurs. That goes against myth.
So the Minotaurs are also trying to summon Baphomet, as written in the book. They are unsuccessful. I was going to make them successful if you didn't stop them. Mm-hmm. Because I have no qualms about throwing Demon Lords at level 12.
No, as we discovered with the Lord of Swords way later down there.
Yeah.
Yes. Aurora, he's never going to recover from that, I tell you. He turned into partial sword. You made Aurora part sword.
Couple of things about this level, I guess. Oh yeah, there's the Dark Elf Fortress. They've got a significantly better defended location than the ones above them. The other thing is the Minotaurs. When you kill them, you get an item. It's a Horn of Valhalla, but it summons Minotaurs instead.
Ah, okay. So you basically get one of their Minotaur horns. You can.
Yeah, basically. That's quite cool.
Yeah. Is there? I'm looking at this, looking at the map, the 12C thing. Are they like all the weird crisscrossy thing? Is that like spider webbing or? Yeah.
So actually, the Dark Elves here have special construct spiders that can weave webs of steel, I think.
Right. Actually, I remember about that. Yes, that's cool. Construct spiders.
Quite hard to get in, and I think they're also alarm webs. So if you touch them, they know you're coming.
Nice. That's a good word. Yeah, yeah. Iron Spider. There we go. Not Iron Spider Man, just Iron Spider. Giant iron spider stands motionless in the middle of the cave. It's on 12B. Yeah. See, one thing, just on a complete side note, one thing that I do find interesting about Dungeon of the Mad Mage is even if you didn't play it as it was, you could very easily utilize every one of these levels as its own mini adventure.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's, I think, is one of its strongest points. It's just that, you know, take a level and you go, I'm going to use this as just a dungeon.
Yeah, exactly. You can even just run it as a one-shot, something like that.
Yeah, I think to a certain extent that's why they're so disconnected from each other, so that they can easily be dropped in.
Yeah, yeah. But I guess it kind of makes sense too when you're like the madness of Halaster and everything like that. You just I mean, what am I going to do? Everything, rah! So he's yes, he designs a dungeon very much the way that I design a campaign, just taking whatever he likes, throwing it in together, and hitting the blend button. So
yeah, nice strategy. After that, we've got Trobriand's graveyard, which is where Trobriand dumps his failed inventions or successful inventions.
Yes, this has got the giant digger worm thing.
Yes, the boar worm.
The boar worm, that's it.
The boar worm is one of the 2 inventions in here that it has that are especially cool. Well, 3 if you count the arch. So Trobriand, I don't know if Trobriand is building the arch or if the dwarf or the gnome who's squatting here is building the arch. But it's an arch that you can walk through and it will cast simulacrum on you.
Ah, that's cool.
Rust. It's not finished. It's I don't think he's ever going to finish it in the adventure. It's like months away.
Yeah.
The boar worm just moves through its path, destroying everything in its way. And then you've got Shocker Stomper.
Shocker Stomper. Ooh.
Which I actually did make a miniature for when I ran it. It's just a 7-legged disc with lightning shooting out of 3 guns. Stomping and shoots lightning at you. I
like the name, Shocker Stomper. Hell yeah. So
it's got its own. It's actually got a whole set of rules. You can attack the legs individually, or you can jump on top prior to the control panel and attack the crystals inside to power it.
Right. Here we go. Shocker Stomper's traits: electrified surface.
That.
Yeah, it can electrify itself. Countermeasures. Yeah, that actually sounds like a really cool monster to grab and stick into a different campaign. Really, that's just something cool. That's definitely a highlight for me. Just I'm sad that Aurora never got to fight the Shocker Stomper.
Yes, Shocker Stomper was they did get to it in the first campaign. It was actually where they TP, like the first chance for a proper TPK, so that's when I brought in the Mind Flayers and had them go to Sea Deeps.
Right.
That is what the book recommends. Have when they're near TPK or when they TPK, say the Mind Flayers get them instead.
Yeah.
Put them in Waterdeep.
Yes, in the Waterdeep simulation.
Yes. All right, Arcturia Doom is a fun level.
Yes, the mad scientist lab.
Yeah, so I did it by having the weapon of mass destruction activate, and you needed to deactivate it.
Yes, so when we arrived, you said that we have 10 minutes to find the 7 keys, and put them into this chamber, and that would stop the self-destruct going on. But then you tricked us by having it not be the case, and we were actually activating the weapon of mass destruction.
Yes. That was just Halaster. Yeah, okay. See, I think that's a good way to do it, because otherwise the party doesn't find out about the keys.
Yeah, it's kind of it's one of those things. Like if that actually wasn't the case, then it's kind of like, what's the point?
Yeah, there's nothing special about the level without that.
Yeah.
And also, the exit is so close to the entrance that it's not hard to skip the level entirely.
Yeah, so where do you come in from? Let me have a look here.
So you come in from the lower left-ish.
Up to level 13. Oh, yeah, I see. And then...
you just
then down to level 15. Yeah, like it's just... Yeah, you don't even have to go...
There's no rooms in the way. The only conceivable threat is that the boar worm is chasing you.
Yeah. I think the one trap would be there if the typical D&D method of always going left, then you would end up having to go up and all the way around.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think my first party when they got here went straight forward. No, they did go. They went right actually.
They went right and made it straight to the exit. Yeah. Well, but I did quite like this level for like the way that you ran it. I thought that was really, really clever. Having us against the clock, trying to find all of the keys, but also the fact that there was so much stuff to actually check out once that happened, but because we were in such a rush, we didn't have time to investigate anything properly. So it was like, oh, that's cool, that's awesome, excellent, I want to check that out. Oh, check that out. It was sort of pointing a thing. Must remember this later on when we're not in danger. Go. There's something about having a ticking clock. I think is actually a really good aspect to it. So
yeah. I liked having Edmund at this level because he provided, like, he was there to clear out small monsters, so you didn't have to bog down movement with that.
Yes.
So it was not the investigation while he would murder everything.
Yeah. What was it? It was the bugbears, was it, or the hobgoblins? Hobgoblins. Yeah, there was a lot of hobgoblin death in this level, if I remember rightly. And there's also the what was it? The Mecha Halaster in the big central chamber.
I didn't use Mecha Halaster in this campaign.
Right.
The first time I ran it.
Oh, here we go.
I printed this for the final fight.
Oh, awesome.
His arm fell off.
Oh, no.
At some point. And Halaster rode around in it. And just
that's cool.
Murderized everything. Oh, actually, I did this as well. So I really liked the boar worm. For level 14.
Nice. That's fantastic.
Those are interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was very cool, but that didn't come in yet. They didn't actually see Mecha Halaster here.
All right.
So.
Right. Yeah, we ran into the thing, but it wasn't finished, if I remember correctly, because it's not meant to be finished in the actual.
No, it's not used at all in the real campaign, other than here. Halaster just thinks it's cool.
Yeah. Because I think that was a when they were writing, or before, like, as they were writing the Dungeon of the Mad Mage, they had Chris Perkins doing the Acquisitions Incorporated, and they had the Dungeon of the Mad Mage like equivalent in that. And what they did is that they had to find Halaster's Ark, which was a giant mecha Halaster that was designed to kill the Tarrasque.
Right.
And so once they found Halaster's Ark, the Tarrasque woke up under the city of the dead in Waterdeep, and then they came out of the dungeon underneath the yawning portal in the Mecha Halaster and had a big kaiju fight. So
that's I actually used Tarrasque stats for it, but that's in the final level.
We'll get to Jurassic Park. So
all right, so level 15, the obstacle course.
Your favorite level.
Yes. So I ran this twice, and this is the level that I think was most improved from first to second. Mm-hmm. My first party is Adventurers League, which means you have a much higher level of min-maxers.
Right.
Not even min-maxers, but they don't roleplay as much.
Yeah.
So the first person who ran into a trap was like, okay, I'm going to go back. I'm just going to find my way back to the entrance.
Yeah.
And the rest were like, we're just going to wait for
We're just going to wait for them.
And then they switched so that the Bear Totem Barbarian was first.
Right.
So he would just walk forward, hit the trap, not die because he had infinite hit points, and then walk back for what felt like infinite hit points.
So we're just going through, just sending this one person out into.
Basically, he explored the whole level. They just used his path.
But that's not as fun. Absolutely, there's always that one thing is that actually just going back to Arcturia Doom, because when you did the announcement with Halaster saying you've got 10 minutes, I just said, cool, I'll just be in my magnificent mansion for the next 10 minutes. And then Halaster went, hey, wait, come back. I said, all right, fine, I'll play your game. So I could very easily have just gone and gone away. But it's one of the things that really annoys me about players is that, you could very easily do that, but do you want to play D&D or not? There's a point to you being here. Why would you bother avoiding the adventure just because it's the simpler way to do it? Do you want to have fun, or do you want to make it easy? So
yeah, that's kind of this level really does require a bit of buy-in from the players.
Yeah.
Although it requires less if you use. So I use the game show variant, which actually it's partly based on the third-party companion, but I actually made most of that myself because that didn't do it as much as I wanted it.
Yeah.
Especially that every so often Stardock and Halaster would play the latest mini game.
Yes, yeah, because it was that I thought was. It was both frustrating, but also a lot of fun because the momentum would get going. We'd start to make some progress, and now it's go, cool, time for the next minigame. You're like, damn it! And then, of course, when we would teleport back, we'd end up in different bloody locations. We had to find our way back. So you just, again, even if we were avoiding the teleport traps, which would randomly split up the party, we'd be forced into them every so often. So
yeah, that was part of the point, is to make sure everyone, and because I found this really funny because I would describe it. So Jermaine and Pazzo would be walking around and they'd see a coin on the ground in front of them. And be like, whoa, and they walk forward into the teleport trap that you'd marked with a coin.
Of the coin.
They didn't know
yeah, just don't go there. I needed to put I needed to start leaving paper leaflets. Don't stand here. Or the word trap.
Something I like about this level is that it kind of forces different combinations within the group than you normally see, because you do get a certain level of banding together, like Aurora and Onyx.
Yes.
Usually stuck together.
Yeah, we were sticking together.
This group kind of, or like Krongra and Tulkas were very glued together, but then this time Krongra might end up with Jermaine. And because of random chance, Jermaine and Pazzo basically
stuck together the entire time. Yeah. But it's a good point. So it's a good way to sort of mix up the group and mess with the dynamics, and where splitting the party isn't optional. So
yeah.
Not only is it not only is it a bad idea, it's mandatory. So
in addition to that, this level has a Death Tyrant, which is just a great, very cool beholder type of monster.
And the massive horde of zombies right before the
all the people he's killed.
Of all the people he's killed, yes. But then you've also got when we were running it, we had the added element of a adult red dragon chasing us through because the party had stolen her eggs in the previous level.
Oh, the next level, yeah,
the next level. Yeah, sorry. When I say previous level, because we were doing it in reverse at this stage.
Yeah.
We're heading back up, then we got to this point, then we went back down.
The Death Tyrant I actually did end up making a miniature for as well. I got a set of Christmas lights off eBay.
Oh yeah.
And glued it into the Death Tyrant so it had glowing lights around it.
That's cool. I like that.
And I stepped on it. So I got to use it a few times.
Well, that's good. At least you got to use it, though. There's nothing worse than going, yes, it's finally finished. It's one of the two things. Nothing worse than, yes, it's finally finished, and breaking it, or yes, it's finally finished, and then your party completely avoid what you've built. Like, I've been through all this effort, damn it!
And then you're like, oh, wow, that's a cool, massive tree monster.
Yeah.
We set it on fire.
Yeah, we're not doing that anymore. Yeah, it's like, cool, done. So, level 16, Crystal Labyrinth.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So Crystal Labyrinth.
Probably one of this one just thematically is probably my favorite one because it's space.
Yeah. And even so the first part of it is just the rainbow color. It's tonally, it looks very it's hard for that to come across in a narrated adventure. But It looks very different because it's so bright.
Yeah, because the whole everything in Underdark's in the dark, and then this place being sort of like it's all meant to be what's the word I'm looking for?
neon.
Or prisms, isn't it? It's like all the everything is all like a prismatic light and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it shines every color constantly changing.
Yeah.
It's quite cool. And then you also run into the red dragons
Yes.
with Githyanki on it. I think there's 6 dragons total on this level. Young dragons, all of them except for the mother, who's an adult dragon who can cast spells.
Yes, because we ran.
Scary.
I think when we ran it, we ran into the at least when we were running it, we ran into the mother and the adolescent son, who was
You ran into the Infernexus, the moody teenager son. You did also run into 2 or 3 others, but you didn't stop and talk with them. They just saw you and started chasing.
That's right, yeah, because we were running at that stage. We had a dragon on our ass. It's like so the idea of this level is that it's the Githyanki's base of operations, essentially, isn't it?
Yeah, but it serves 2 purposes. They've got the mind flayers on level 17 below them. This is an outpost that helps them hunt them down and kill them. Right. They really don't like mind flayers. So
of course, yeah, exactly. With the
other thing it does is it's a very handy spot to put young Githyankians so they can grow, because you don't grow in the astral plane. You don't age.
Right, of course.
So they have to bring their Githyanki children to Stardock. There's actually a room, and I have written in my notes for the room, like on a piece of text, please don't kill these babies.
It's the prisoner dilemma, I tell you.
And they... Yeah, you didn't get to that, luckily.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, I like again with Aurora's character, not a problem. With everyone else in the party as we're running through it.
Yeah, one thing. Our run through it, I think we didn't go into Stardock that much. There's
we went because we were. Was it we got there? Then there was the egg heist, and then it was Aurora and basically trying to use his seeming spell to make everyone think that they were other Githyanki, and just trying to basically bluff our way past, saying that these people, don't talk to them, you're not allowed to go, out of the way, get out of the way. So, using the using tongues and seeming, so they could understand me. No one else could. I could speak to them. You couldn't speak to any of my companions. They were all Githyanki. I'm just showing them around, inspecting. Get back to work.
Oh, I also actually made the change to make that the asteroid had atmosphere outside. It didn't. In the book.
Yeah, because the
gravity plane, there's air as well.
Right. Yeah. So you've got like I said, we had. So you got the crystal labyrinth, and then you got the gates. Well, a different kind of gate with this one. You need like a key, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, it's a special kind of gate. You need a rod.
A rod. That was it. And you've got you put the rod in the post, and then that opens up the gate to the asteroid in orbit, which I think is sorry. Stardock, yes, yeah. But I think it was a kind of an interesting thing, because if you have the ability to teleport, technically, once you get to Stardock, you're actually out of the dungeon.
Yes.
So if players really want to get out of the dungeon role playing aspect without having to do with Halaster, that is a way out.
Yes.
Which I thought.
There's actually another way out on this level. The 4 pits, darkness, they descend into fog. There's a really bad way out.
Okay.
If you jump in, you're teleported to the astral plane.
Right. Okay.
There's no way back.
Okay. Well, it's a way out, I suppose.
Yeah, very Githyanki because they live there. So
yes. They just chill out. It's like, damn it, I'm too young. So someone find me.
But if a player ends up there, the Githyanki just murder them all.
Oh, of course. Why wouldn't they? It tends to be what the.
So when I first ran this, the party got to the dock, which doesn't have ships as written, and I didn't want to put ships in because I didn't want to risk the possibility of
them leaving. Yes.
But they did meet the dragon, who recognized them as intruders because they'd been fighting their way through, and they fought it there. And the dragon got to use its 120-foot fly speed. grabbing people.
And just throwing them into space.
They're 100 feet, tossed them out of the air bubble, and flew back.
That's what you get for fighting in space, I guess. Yeah, it's a good.
Yeah, I think the dragon threw 2 people, the wizard and the barbarian I was talking about earlier. The wizard managed to teleport back. The barbarian fell. He was fine. 20d6 fall damage isn't that much.
What about the additional fire damage going through the atmosphere? Or is this just falling back?
He did actually take that. It's just he had close to effectively 800 hit points at that point.
Oh, jeez Louise. I like to imagine that that'd be like a really great backstory. You could say, I am the falling star.
He did later have a thing where him and Halaster would both jump off together and parachute down.
Oh, there you go.
Space. One pastime.
But yeah, but as you were saying with the gravity plane, when we ran through it, you didn't include that. You just made the whole area no gravity at all, so it was just difficult terrain moving. We had to push off walls to move about, which I actually quite liked. I thought that was a good idea. If we had the ability to fly, the gravity didn't affect us. But if we,
but the thing because there's still air, your flight can still push off air.
Yeah.
And I think Jermaine had levitate.
Levitate, yeah. We just basically had a few people levitating, and then we just tethered ourselves together, and we're just towing them through. We were just the Githyanki chain at that stage. But I do actually quite like the gravity plane concept as written, because again, that's very much Spelljammer.
Yeah, it is.
Because Spelljammer, all the ships have their central gravity plane, which I think is kind of funny, because if you fall overboard of a Spelljammer, you actually bob in the gravity plane.
It actually said that here as well.
Yeah, you bob in the central point like you're floating in water, but you're floating in the middle of space. And if you get sucked out of the air bubble, then you're screwed. But
this does have written that a astral ship from the astral plane crewed by Githyanki can appear once a year. It does also suggest that the characters can have Stardock as a base, which would be really cool.
Oh yeah,
neither did that. Probably because it's a bit hard to kill a full garrison of Githyanki red dragons and the mind flayers who would want to come and take it after.
A little bit difficult, but I think if we get if you get Flicker and Scarthrax onto it, they'll do it in an hour.
The dragons will join us.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. So we're here to serve Tiamat. Welcome, brothers. Alrighty, let's jump on to level 17, Sea Deeps.
Sea Deeps at first reads like a generic-ish. I mean, it's still pretty interesting. It's Githyanki versus Mind Flayers. They've got their complex. They're cooking up a Neothalid to unleash on the Githyanki into Crystal Labyrinth.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting too, because I thought that bit was just not knowing my Mind Flayer lore, because the Neothalids, the Mind Flayers,
hate them.
They hate them. Yeah, exactly. They're like abominations. If they ever grow that big, they should never be allowed to gestate that large. The fact that they were actually cultivating one was I thought was like, whoa. So
I think whoever wrote this didn't know that, because there's no mention made of why they're okay with this.
Right. Okay. So
it's not even that he's a rogue.
Mind Flayer.
Slither. He's connected to an Elder Brain.
Right. So okay. So.
Yeah, which actually the first time I ran this, while they were in Ultradeep, I had the Elder Brain insert itself into the simulation.
Oh, cool.
Along with Slither, so they had to fight them both.
Yes. So we'll talk about Ultradeep. So we've got the Mind Flayer facility, as well as the fighting, and the party of flumps, which we ended up killing. Sadly, we left them to die in a bag of holding, and they suffocated. Which was so sad.
The Mind Flayers have their lair, which is like if players were to come into there on their own before they were caught, they'll notice the huge water turbines.
Yeah, it's basically like a
Quite,
big
quite
hydroelectric
high-tech.
plant, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I think it is an electric plant. I think it's copper plated floor and everything.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's got a whole quite a nice thing going for it, and the shape is quite nice, I think. And then there's the two radial rooms that connect to one of the turbines that contain, I think, 12 pods each.
Yes. That's
Like
where
that.
you end up in the Matrix.
Yeah, just opening that up, like you head in and then. Well, yeah. So as written, the suggestion is very bad. Like it's stunningly not good.
Right.
Where is that thing? I don't remember where exactly they cover how you get in, but it's something like you. When the party gets TPK, they wake up in Waterdeep. Yeah, and also they notice things are wrong, like slight details are off. But as soon as you say that guy's face looks slightly wrong, they're going to be like, okay, this isn't real.
This isn't real. Yeah, exactly.
We just woke up here. There's no good reason for it.
Yeah.
And so by making them modify your memories instead, so that you think Halaster portaled you back, which is entirely within the realm of reason.
Absolutely. It's like, yeah.
Especially because he thought that would be funny, so he actually did show up.
Oh, so that wasn't an illusion. I thought that was an illusion that they implanted.
Oh, they did knock you out, but he showed up to help them make sure the illusion was
right. Okay, so he was working with them. Yeah, because it says unconscious creatures and cypods. They experience the equivalent of a shared dream as they appear with all their carried possessions in Waterdeep, or rather, an alternate version of Waterdeep created by Strematon, which I love as a name. That's an awesome name for it. Yeah. It's like a villain from Master of the Universe. I am Extrematon.
Yeah. Yeah, Extrematon's he's a pretty cool bad guy because he's not just evil, although he is definitely evil. He's not morally ambiguous, but he's more curious. He's not evil for evil's sake. He's evil because he doesn't care about anything. He only cares about fulfilling his experiments. His experiments.
Yes, yeah. Because when we were running through it, the idea was that he didn't really get other life forms. He didn't understand.
No, he wants to understand people, not so that not for the purpose of understanding people. He wants Ultradeep to be really accurate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he's studying them and just basically running through different iterations of his simulation to try and perfect it. So but he hasn't quite gotten there yet.
And also, so I think when we did it, Cyberpunk had recently released.
Yes, Cyberpunk.
I watched all the glitchy videos, and I thought that was really funny.
Yes.
So putting all those in.
Yeah. You're having the textures of the trees and whatnot weren't.
Yeah, one of the tree textures had the bark texture on the side.
Yes, it wasn't loading in correctly, and the other bit was that our sentient weapons didn't talk to us. So I thought the Terra Louis was upset with me, but it was just because the sentient weapon can't translate into the simulation. Same with Jermaine's sentient weapons.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think one thing that worked really well on that level was how it was random chance that Percy had left the party earlier.
Yes.
It worked out so well that I could have him take over Extrematon without you guys realizing it.
Yes.
And then he could do you and have you take over a different mind flayer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Aurora. I think this was more Tim than Aurora, but I'd recently rewatched that episode of Rick and Morty where they were in the simulation, and so I thought, I wonder, I noticing the glitches, and I wonder if I walk far enough out, if I'll hit the edge, like I'll hit the wall, and then
an edge.
Yeah, then I found the edge, and you said that I come back, but I'm now a mind flayer type thing.
I remember vaguely narrating it as you come out and you're like, the edge, I better tell the others, turn around, Percy's standing there.
Yeah. Like, what the hell? And then I wake up in the pod, the mind flayers aren't looking, and I just use my dimension door to get the hell out of there. So I teleport this far in this direction. Unfortunately, it was the right direction. So, but then we had essentially 2 games running at that point, really, because there was Percy and Aurora out of the simulation, and Percy and Aurora as the Mind Flayer controlled versions inside the simulation, and then we
took a break to run Dragonized.
Yeah. And I've still actually got Aurora's awesome plan, the bit of artwork. I'll put that up so people can see.
Oh, yeah.
Aurora's awesome plan on how we were going to escape. It was to create fog. We're going to steal that diamond because we figured that diamond was the power source for the simulation, but it was the power source to the
power source keeps the Neothalid.
Keeps the Neothalid. They're like, big fucking what? So, it was like, oh crap, they're gonna get.
I like that though, because it meant when you thought you were about to face Extrematon, he was like, I will destroy you all. It ate him.
Yeah, I know, you did the Deep Blue Sea moment, which I thought was beautiful. I really, really liked that. That was so damn good. I think, and again, this is one of the things that, like, as I've been saying with this book, is that it has a lot of potential, but I think a lot of it they leave up to the DMs to actually play around with it to actually make it better.
Yeah.
Because as written, it doesn't play quite as well as you would like.
No, even most of the Halaster interactions were added by me.
Right, yeah. You did a fantastic job with that. It was very, very good.
Yeah, I felt like Halaster should be. Well, he's always there. Like you make a joke that he finds funny, he laughs.
He laughs.
You hear him.
Yeah.
You know, he's always around.
Yeah.
You insult him, he's mean to you.
Yeah, I like that bit. It's, like I said back earlier on, it's like, I'm just going to go in here. Hey, no, come back. So...
All right, that's that level.
Yes, Van Rakdoom. That's the...
Yes, we did not stay here long.
No.
That's what happened when you come here at level 8, though.
Yes, this is where shit hit the fan, quite literally. We had to...
Yeah.
Yes,
we had all right time exploring. You found it, or Percy found a sunblade at one point. But,
yes, and then Aurora...
Then you found the cultists, killed them. They swirled into a dark ball, and you're like, okay, we'll close the door. Wait, we saw a dragon in there, perhaps.
Yes, yeah, I will say this is where your DM skills worked very, very well on me, because you baited me back into the room, because we killed the bunch of cultists that were performing a ceremony, and then you said you saw what could have been like a copper dragon. I was like, oh, wait, they're friendly. I'll go back and rescue it. Surely it's okay. We open the door. Murder. It's like, no, you have betrayed my trust. Damn you, DM.
Yeah, then I really actually, like, if you ran this as written, they're not really, I mean, they're still a threat. They're shadow assassins. They're quite a dangerous one. And 6 of them is not, like, nothing. But they're not an existential threat. But when you're level 8, 6 shadow assassins is the end of the world.
Yeah, I know. That was terrifying. And... honestly, I actually as much as I harp on about this, this was probably one of the most memorable levels because of that. Because you put us in a place where
the close calls, you were going to be left behind to die.
I know the only reason that Aurora survived that level was because he was bleeding out. The rest of the party were going to leave him behind. My first death save was a natural 20, and I got the hell out of there with my dimension door. But even then, you wouldn't let us back out because we couldn't reopen the door to get back in. So that we
the door normally in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. So we weren't meant to be here. I don't want to be here anymore. So
luckily enough that area, like that map, has a lot of secret doors. You were able to evade shadow assassins.
Yes,
mostly long enough to get out of there. Percy made some poor decisions.
Yes.
Elsewhere.
Yes, he made some poor decisions. Yeah, we basically ran all the way from, because we started off in area 4.
That was area 6.
Area 6, right? Yes, that's what. Yeah, that's right. Percy got attacked in area 4. That's where he decided to. That was the room with all the tapestries where he decided to hide while we ran off and left him behind.
He did hide successfully.
He did do it. He's a good rogue. He was able to hide. That was quite well. But yeah, then we ended up just running away to level 17. So we ended up going back up rather than back down. But
yeah.
I don't think we ever came back here, if I remember correctly. I think
we did not. I did narrate that. What was his name? Vento and what was the gunslinger?
Achilles.
Vento and Archelius Vento and Archelius were in the middle of fighting the dragon here when the Sword Lord burned.
Right, when they showed up. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And so, they just fell down to level 23.
Hey, it worked. It was a good way to get them through. But
what's very interesting about this level, my first party ran through this normally. Actually, too, it has probably the next best pair of NPCs.
Oh yeah.
Braxakar, the Shadow Dragon, and Vanrak Moonstar, the Death Knight.
Oh.
But Vanrak Moonstar is actually dead at the start of the adventure. He's not in it. You don't meet him.
Oh.
But you get these visions from the dragon's point of view of him, and you learn about
right. They were in the secret rooms, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you did see one of their visions. So Vanrak turned to Shar, the god of darkness and loss, became a Death Knight, and then that turned his dragon friend into a Shadow Dragon.
Right.
But if you collect his sun sword, his amulet, and something else, his mithril shirt or mithril chainmail, I think, you can convince the Shadow Dragon to repent, and then he becomes a copper dragon or whatever.
Ah, right.
And he follows you around.
Oh, cool. Well, so all right. So you weren't lying about the dragon. That there was a dragon there.
No. No. So they were actually in the middle of making a new vision, because each vision lets them anchor more of the plane. That leads into the other thing. This level has part of it is actually in the Shadowfell.
Oh, right.
Actually, this is another way to escape Undermountain, because if you're in the Shadowfell, the restrictions don't apply.
You can still teleport away. Yeah. Right. Oh, that's cool. I did not know that, but there you go.
There's also a vampire.
There's a lot of vampires, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, there was one back on level 15 as well. They were there's loads of vampires spawn, but there's also a mother vampire.
Right.
When Percy was running away right before he died, he saw the vampire.
Mm-hmm.
And Jermaine saw her as well, and Jermaine was like, "We should go." Fair enough. And then later, Archelius and Vento would have killed her.
Yeah.
But
oh, that's pretty cool then. So if you're looking for a haunted house Shadowfell adventure, this is definitely one way to go to, especially if you're level 8.
To be honest, adventure at level 8 with maybe dulling it down to 4 or 5 Shadow Assassins could be pretty horrific. But fun.
Because what level are you supposed to be on this level?
15.
15, yeah. So yeah, six levels underdone. But yeah, that was actually really good. I actually really enjoyed that level.
Shadow Assassins are challenge rating 9.
9, yeah, and there was 6 of them. So yeah.
Okay, next we've got the
Caverns of Ooze with my favorite character.
Yeah, it's got a lot of good things. It's got a spaceship.
Yeah, it's got a spell. It's one of the only 2 published Spelljammers that I know of in current 5th edition.
This one, Icewind Dale.
Oh, there's one in Icewind Dale. There's 3 of them then.
Yeah,
okay.
It's crashed.
Oh, there you go.
So
well, I did. Yeah, because in I think it's Against the Giant. It's not Against the Giant. It's one of the ones with the. I think it's Princes of the Apocalypse. No, Storm King's Thunder. Like Storm King's Thunder or Stormlord's Wrath. One of these adventures, there's a section where there's a giant chained up in a boat.
Right.
And the boat is actually a Spelljammer, but it's on the ocean. It doesn't have the helm attached anymore.
Right. Yeah.
But it's a Spelljammer squid ship. It's got the weird.
Right.
It's actually similarly designed to the Scavenger in this one, but it's a much larger one. It's more of a galleon than it is a
I think actually no. Well, this one has like in this adventure you can also find the Spelljammer helm and restore the ship to flying.
Well, yes, we did that at one stage, but then we ended up flying away in the flying saucer instead. But yeah, because it was the Halaster's throne, and you stick the helm. And I think because after we finished the campaign, I reread it as a very carefully worded wish will allow you to get the Spelljammer and yourself out with the.
Yeah, I did actually change that slightly because the original helm is on level 23.
Right, yeah, because the group had run into it earlier on, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's actually just a regular chair, but I thought it was funny that the group had decided to take the regular chair and put it in their bag of holding. So I decided to make it a special chair.
Special chair.
It just looks like a chair.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Also on this level, you've got Nagathrod, the Mind Flayer pirate. Very cool.
Mm-hmm. And he's a giant miniature space hamster.
Yes. Yeah, it's not even his. It just lives there.
It just lives there, I know, but they had to keep that in there as part of the
Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, like this says, like, you know, the Spelljammer. What's the word I'm looking for? Not an Easter egg, an homage. You know, just to tie it back into it to the origins.
And then the last thing about this level is the Jinn, who are interesting.
Yes, because there's because they're
for songs.
Yeah, they're musical. I know. It's just, I was a little sad we didn't get to see you sing. I think if I ever ran this, we definitely get the.
I sang badly.
Yeah, well, I was saying you weren't sort of rocking out and really getting into it. You sort of.
I actually kind of meant to, but I forgot to. Also, I'm not a musician.
Yeah, that's all right.
I should have learned it specifically this way.
Get lessons just for this. So, yeah, because there's the water Djinn. Yeah, and he's all about he's got like sort of sea shanties and things like that for his music, if I remember rightly.
Oh yeah, the rock Djinn has rock music.
Yeah, exactly. He actually has a rock and roll type thing. So, oh yeah, here we got the Itchlug's cavern. Welcome to my grotto. They call me King of Cray. Ichthig is my name. I'm the catch of the day. Ocean's my oyster. The waves are mine to rule. Ichthig is my name. The baddest fish in school. I find that actually works quite well if you do Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah. I think they both would, because I think they're both written in the same verse.
In the same, yeah. I'm the tide. I'll rain on your parade.
I like how they do both want Ezat's phylacteries. So
yes. They've been trapped there, and they made like Halaster said they can only get out if they give him the phylactery. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But only one of them.
Only one of them, yeah. And they can't work together, so.
No.
Yes, and then we decided to do them dirty and give them both fake phylactery.
It's really funny too because it goes. Halaster can't get into Ezat's lair on his own.
Yes.
So he traps two Jinni and says, "You guys need to get into his lair, but you're not allowed to leave your cave, so you need to get adventurers to do it for you."
Yeah, just making the most complicated set of plans.
There's also actually you didn't meet him, I don't think, but there's a mud method that just leads you between the two. If you find one.
I don't think we ever found that. No. And there's also intelligent oozes as well. So intelligent.
Oh yeah, they were why in 2 levels you had 1 count of genocide on your crimes. Because you killed the last of the intelligent black oozes.
Whoops.
There were only 3 of them.
I was curious about that. It's like, genocide? What? Definitely, this is my second favorite level just for the implications of what it actually reveals. Yeah. The fact that, that there's a much wider world out there, similar to the Stardock. The fact that it actually is in space, and now there's actually a crashed planar spaceship in here. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, if you're gonna run a campaign, like I've seen third-party things that goes past level 20. So I've seen epic level campaigns like old editions, but they'll go to level 30, which is insane. I think Dungeons of the Mad Mage is a pretty good way to get up there because it's got so much different links to different things.
Yeah, because you can almost use a lot of the different maps in this place, like I said, as one shots, but also as campaign hooks for additional storylines.
Yeah. All right, level 20.
Yes.
And that's here are... Oh, yes. When Halaster first really interferes.
Yes, when he threw asteroids at us, the bastard.
Yeah, so both times with the crystal, I'll let you in on a secret. I don't think it's any fun to roll a d4 and only give him a 1/4 chance. Although I actually did for your group. First one, he meteor swarmed immediately. As soon as they saw it. Because I knew they'd avoid it if they knew he could do that.
Yeah. Yeah,
they're just going to run away. They didn't even meet as far as I know.
So
this cavern does meteor swarms. We're leaving.
Yes.
We're not.
Yeah. So the meteor swarms are tied to the crystal above his.
The crystal allows Halaster to cast through it.
Right. Okay.
He's actually using his 9th level spell when he does that.
Okay. Yes, because when we showed up, we came into this area and there's like this. For the most part, this place is actually fairly barren apart from the stalagmite tower.
There's actually also a mummy lord. You don't meet him.
Oh, okay.
He sits in I think the lower left corner. Yeah, 6.
Oh yeah, I see.
6,
Yes. Yeah, 6C. Yeah.
If you go down there, he attacks you. That's it.
Right. It's kind of weird when there's bits and pieces like that because unless you're being a completionist, there's no reason to go there. That's probably one of the
especially because the design encourages you not to go there. There's no treasure there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that there's no reason for the party to go there even by accident because the main focus is on this big fuck off stalagmite right in the middle of the first chamber you come across. So why would you even bother? And of course the exit is right across from it. So but yeah, you've got the
and Ezat will show it to you if you're friendly with him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you gotta, and Ezat's the Lich, of course. Now, what was his storyline? He was just a rival of.
He was in the book as written. He is a enemy of Halaster's for a long time. He wants to kill Halaster.
Right.
It's basically, and he wants to take over.
Right.
He becomes more like Halaster every day. The companion comes up with a different idea. They used to be very close, good friends, and then Ezat betrayed Halaster in some way, or it went the other way. The companion makes sure to emphasize that it is Halaster telling the party this, and they can't trust his memory because tainted by his own opinion.
Of course, yes.
And also by the fact that he's insane. He could be remembering it wrong.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, God, that bastard.
From then on, they hated each other. Halaster hates Ezat a lot more than Ezat hates Halaster in that
regard. Right. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, and again, this was my role-playing thing here. This is where the fact that just because someone has an evil alignment doesn't necessarily mean that they're muhahaha. They're actually willing to talk, and that's one of the things I really liked about this character here. He actually got to hang out and chat with a lich. he was very willing to help you out. There was the if I remember rightly, there's the chess game, isn't there, with his pseudo dragon?
No, it's pseudo dragon. He has a animated Staff of Frost.
Right, the Staff of Frost that was playing the game of dragon chess. That's right, yeah. And then I think someone was trying to give the staff a hint on how to win the game, but I don't think that actually ended up.
No, the staff is kind of arrogant.
Yeah.
It annoys me too because you can't actually have the staff as a treasure.
Oh.
Kill him. It just dies.
Right.
Why would they write that? It's not a good item. It's fun, but it's not good.
Yeah. And the fact that it's just a staff of frost. Why don't you say it's an animated staff?
Yeah.
The fact that it's a staff of frost is kind of weird.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah. So if you,
oh yeah, there's the stone cloaks as well, which are likenesses of Halaster built by Halaster that eat the crystals that fall off the central crystal. You didn't. You met one. It was a big monster that was absorbing the other ones.
Yeah, the big golem thing. Yes, we had to stick a different golem into another golem. Say, yo, dog, we heard you like golems. We stuck a golem in your golem. What was the other?
Oh, and there's a giant snail.
A giant snail, not a flail sail, just a big snail.
Yeah, no, it's just a snail.
Just a snail? Okay.
It's not a flail snail. I think it has a big shell. Shiny shell.
Well, if it's a big snail, it should have a big shell. So there you go. So,
yeah.
So really, the only really interesting this one is the Ezat, the interactions with him, which again I think is a very interesting character. All right,
yeah.
The Terminus level. This was the very strange level. So it's an abandoned mine with.
This was the dark level, yeah.
Yeah, and this one was
co-opted by a planetar.
Yes, a planetar with his devil friend, who.
Oh yeah, that's really nice art. Kind of hard to see on the book, but it's.
Yeah. Like it was like, hello there.
A whole bunch of friends, but you'd think he would realize he's evil when he's sitting on a throne with a skull.
I know, yeah. He goes, yeah. I'm lawful good. I'm judging all that is evil. This is my demon friend who is helping me to decide this, and my throne of bones.
My sword that drips blood.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Every wall in this place drips blood. It's like, dude, need to step back. Yeah, again, this was just one of my favorite Aurora moments because I finally got to use my glibness to to trick him into killing himself by convincing him that he is evil. But now I remember
at this level, the trial is not. It is in as written, but it doesn't provide you guidance on how to do it.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that's what I was about to bring up. You were saying that.
Yeah, the companion provides some guidance. Actually, yeah, I basically just used that. But for crimes, because we used Roll20, and whenever you killed someone, I didn't actually delete the nature. I just marked them as invisible.
Right.
Which meant I could count
how many invisible creatures there were.
Yeah. It ended up being some like 200 or 300 creatures dead, along with other various crimes like theft.
Yeah.
Genocide counted as a separate crime. A whole bunch of things.
Yeah, so I guess the basic idea of this level is that there's the planetar and the now his story is that he's fallen because he came down to. I
think Cromgra found a dead body, but he didn't look at it. But it was the body of a cleric. It was minus a head, and
right.
She was like overrun by enemies, and she thought, okay, well, I'll summon a planetar. So Fazrian came down, did his holy wrath, killed them all. But like even that short amount of time, he decided to clean the whole level, which was a mistake because the knot on the weave got a hold of him pretty quickly.
Right.
And so the more he killed, the more joy he took in killing them, and then that made him fall from grace very quickly. And eventually, he even killed the cleric and her companions.
Oh.
And then he now passes judgment.
Yeah. So he's just chilling out there, passing judgment and all. I think you said, realistically, he says, how do you plead? And if you convince him, you're like, cool, then he just tries to kill you, and then the fight is on. You said it was like something very, very simple, which is kind of disappointing, so...
Oh, what, if you're guilty?
Yeah, because I remember you saying that rather than having like the whole court case thing that we ran, it just says that he shows up and goes, how do you plead?
Oh, yeah. You walk into the room, he goes, how do you plead? If you say not guilty, he says, no, you're lying, and attacks you. If you're guilty, he says, okay, and he attacks you.
Yes.
I think, there is actually one of them. Yeah, if one of you, like if you plead guilty and one of you says, just kill me, he'll just kill you.
Right.
He will kill you.
Yeah, he will kill you, but he'll
just kill that.
He'll just kill you. Okay, so I guess fortunate for me that you were running the alternate version, because that's exactly what Aurora said, basically. So if I'm responsible for these people, if there's a crime to be judged by, I will take responsibility for it. Just let them go. So, but then we also had the.
Actually, wait. It might be that he lets those who are willing to die for the others live and kills the rest.
Oh, right. But still
one other thing didn't come up, but the wife of the Durgar leader is a dragon.
Oh.
She's a steel dragon, actually, which is the first time that's appeared.
Oh, there you go. Cool.
It's just a modified silver dragon.
Mm-hmm.
So
nice. And then, of course, the next level leads you down to my nightmare. The
Shadow Dust Cold.
The Shadow Dust Cold.
Shadow Dust Cold is not. It's not what we need. No, it doesn't emphasize the eldritchness of what they're doing.
Right.
They have the Black Shadow Tablet, which is what they use to open the gate. The gate. I think the gate is even there, but nothing can come through it.
Right. This is where we.
There's a partial breach portal. Can't go through it. The companion I really pulled from for this one. It has a set of 7 encounters to run in a row, or 6 or 7, which I did run most of. And they provide you with, well, like half of them where Starspawn Mangler jumps from ceiling and stabs you.
Yeah. There was certainly a lot of Starspawn Manglers and Grews, I think, as well, with the other ones. Or...
Grews, yeah. Grews can be quite dangerous. They didn't really get to be in this because, like, they're very easy to kill.
Yeah.
But, like, if you can get one coming up at the same time as a Hulk, so people focus on the Hulk, the Grew is going to help it destroy you by imposing disadvantage.
Disadvantage, yeah. Those things are really, really nasty. But I did really, really like the way that you ran this one. Just the fact that they're opening the portal to the astral plane, so the whole place is completely mutating. But like as you were saying, as written, it's probably not as dire as you ended up making it out to be. But I will say this, just looking at this thing here, very, very cool map. As if you're looking for a good castle,
use it as an above ground map.
Sorry.
You could use this as an above ground map.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying this would make like a really good fortress map.
Yeah. And I think this level has a problem, but also it's got I think 7 boss monsters, even as written.
Right.
The problem is 4 of them are Archmages. Archmages do not make good boss monsters on their own.
No.
They lose.
Yeah, no, yeah. One fighter will take out an Archmage quite easy.
Yeah, like your first turn against them, it had 1 turn total, which it used to cast Time Stop, then move.
Yeah.
It had forgotten that Jermaine cast Boom Blade on it, so it died.
It died and just exploded. So.
I freeze time.
Yeah, we just see him disappear, then he reappears, and so because the sound is gone.
And then there's just a Draco Lich, which is thematically similar, but it's quite disconnected. He has no real connection to the rest of the level.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
It's not corrupted in any way.
No. You sort of think if they're going to do something like that, like an Astral Dreadnought or something, it'd almost be a better choice.
Yeah. I thought about using one. I was almost going to use one instead of the Sword Lord, but then I decided to make my own thing.
Yeah, thank you for that. So,
and actually, anyone who does run this, I would recommend, but maybe not make your own, but bring in a horror of, like, an Eldritch horror of massive proportions. Like, I think characters are level 18 at this, or level 17 at this point, and I think this should be a really hard fight. So I think countering 30 creatures is actually acceptable here. Yeah. Tiamat would be fine.
Yeah. Which is what
Sword Lord is based on.
That's like you based the Sword Lord on Tiamat. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, but it was I really liked the way that you ran this with the. Oh, what was that?
This house is very well built. Don't worry.
Very good. I really like the way that you ran this with the just slowly building up the horror aspect of it, and just not how we didn't even realize what was going on. That the fact that all the sentient weapons were screaming because the Sword Lord was coming is like, oh right, now we know why. So
yeah, and I really liked when you got to the second level. Without realizing it, you'd gone through a room that disabled all your weapons for a few minutes.
right.
And that's when the Stardock and Hulks got upon you. And you realized that your weapons weren't doing anything.
Yes, it was like, it's not working anymore.
They were just these brutes that you couldn't stop.
Yeah, just like, no. And then there was, of course, the great instance where our one character who had the ability to duplicate himself filled the entire corridor with himself.
Why?
For no reason other than the fact that now the room is filled with him. So
I mean, it did slow them down, the horrors. They were like, okay, we'll kill these.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not real.
They're not real. Yeah.
It did give you enough time to get Ravi to put a wall up. So you can
Wall of Force! Yeah, it's very easy.
I think it's not written. The adventure. This is a kind of a problem with all D&D adventures. I think to a certain extent, they won't use monsters from Volos or Mordenkainen's except for a few.
Right.
And their budget for this book must have been terrible because there's no star spawn.
Well, I think it might have been the fact that they might not have, like, that book might not have come out yet. That could have been the issue.
No, it is.
Oh, it come out? Oh, okay.
They recommend specifically to use Starspawn, but I would, like, they only say to use a Seer. I would throw Gru, Manglers, and Hulks everywhere. Yeah, replace the cultists with dead bodies and put Hulks.
Nice. One more.
Like, keep the wizards alive, and that's it.
Oh, yeah.
And the two Death Knights are both good as well. They got a really weird, creepy relationship going on that I did not use. They're like brother and sister, but, you know, also from Alabama, apparently.
Nice. So they're related to the Skywalkers. But we finally have come to the Mad Wizard's Lair, level 23.
Oh, just before we get into this, bit of a mistake, in my opinion, to only provide 2 tier 4 levels. This level is expected to take you from 18 to 20. It's a little hard.
Hard. Yeah. As one thing that I do often struggle with when it comes to non XP based leveling is that if you're doing what's the term, tiered progression, story progression. Sorry.
Do you mean milestone?
Milestone. Thank you. When you're doing milestone progression, is that you can get situations where people level, but they don't really earn the level.
Yeah, from milestone.
Yeah, which is why it's one of the things, like, if you go like from 18 to 20 on this level, it's sort of like, yeah, cool, have some more levels because you need to be higher. So
yeah. But see, like, every time I start a new campaign, I'm like, I'm going to use XP.
Yeah.
I never do. It's really hard. Yeah, because you have to assign XP for non-combat things, which is quite difficult a lot of the time.
Yeah.
This level is not a satisfying conclusion on its own. Really need to upgrade this. Even for my Adventurers League run, I'd gotten to a level of bending the rules that I was alright with bending it to actually have a good ending. Like a Halaster, bringing it in. Yeah,
absolutely. Because effectively, this level is you just rock up, you fight Halasters to apprentices.
See, you don't even have to fight Trobriand. He's not.
Oh, really? Oh,
no, he's on the side. You guys didn't even find him. You fought him because he was one of the Elite Four, but you didn't go up to him.
Right.
You would have had to go through Arcturia anyway. She's the only way
into the castle or the tower. Yeah.
And there is actually another apprentice. The Wand of Wonder is.
Oh, the Wand of Wonder. Yes.
But That's it. I also really like the room with 7 doors, all but one of which are trapped with prismatic spray on everyone in the room.
Yes, the one
you
that
guys got very lucky.
Yeah, the one that Aurora got lucky with. I'm just gonna go left. One time,
it was just the direct right angle degree left.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't immediately to the left, but it was just like, oh, I feel like I'll go to this left here. We'll say because that one wasn't quite left. That was a bit more backwards. That's why.
Yeah, my first party, they must have heard the same thing, go left, but they took it fully left, so they went diagonally backwards. All got sprayed. Everyone left, but one guy. He opened the door and found the way out.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous, that one there. That's a pretty nasty trap room. I'll give it that.
Yeah. From there, if you continue down the little circular room, that's where the Spelljammer helm is supposed to be.
Oh, okay. So in the secret room 20, right?
Oh, I also really like the shields. There's a devil shield, but it has a devil's face on it, and there's a shield with the angel's face on it. The angel's face one has the devil inside, the devil's face one has the angel inside.
Of course. Whoa, losing my headphones.
The angel face one wants to be brought near the devil face one, so that the devil inside the angel face one gets out.
Right.
Because they both free themselves if they get near each other. The angel inside the devil faced one doesn't remember anything. So it isn't able to do anything.
Yes, I remember when we got out of that one there, they ended up, was it Jermaine ended up killing the angel?
Yeah, I don't even remember why. They had a reason.
I have no idea why. It was they just figured we're gonna get this guy out of this shield and kill him. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
They might have thought he was a bad guy
because he was in the devil shield. That's probably what they thought, that he was actually evil. They were taking it at face value. They didn't realize that he was actually a.
He's basically just a guy lying on the floor.
Yeah, and they're just stabbing him. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, he ended up dying of his wounds. I did roll that safe.
Yeah, I know. I didn't. Yeah, Aurora didn't. It was so annoyed and disagreeing with people at this point because we'd gotten through that room that made him disagree with everybody that I didn't even think to heal him. So.
There's the shield. Oh, that angel can also. That was the one that if you've redeemed the Planetar on the earlier level.
Yeah.
Did we talk about that? I'm not sure we did.
We did. You had mentioned it to me, yeah, because I managed to redeem him.
No, I mean in this.
Oh no, we haven't. Yes, there is the option to redeem the evil Planetar. Yes.
Yeah, from level 21. I think it's the best option for that. That and the dragon, way back, are really good if you can redeem them. Like it helps the story a lot, I think.
Yeah.
And on this level, if you did redeem Phasrion, he will bestow a blessing of health upon you. Which is like +2 con or something.
That's cool.
Yeah, con +2.
Nice.
He'll also fight with you. And there's also one other thing I thought was silly. Is the top room 9, has a staff of thunder and lightning depicted.
Mm-hmm.
And you think, behind this door with a staff of thunder and lightning, there's going to be a staff. There's nothing. Nothing behind it.
So it's a secret door with nothing behind it.
Oh, sorry, no, it has one of the shields. It has the devil face.
Right, okay.
But it doesn't have a staff of thunder and lightning.
That's right, because you've got that weird lightning bolt thing that looks like there's energy that's... Like, the artwork is actually shot out, if I remember correctly, in the description of that.
Yeah, it's scorched around it, like someone shot it with the
thunder and lightning, yeah, exactly. So, yeah. And then, of course, we have the actual tower itself, but
the tower is oh yeah, I changed the tower.
Yeah, because we ended up in we went through the door and ended up in Tarrasque Park at that stage.
Oh yeah, first we did the penultimate encounters. Tarrasque Park was taken from the companion. It's not only my idea. I made the logo, and then Welcome to the Thunderdome is what it was called when you fought the Empyrean.
Right.
That is directly from that, but I think I drew a map up because I wanted a bigger map to help emphasize how big the Empyrean was because she could move so fast.
Yes.
Tarrasque Park was better though.
Yeah, just running for our lives in a wagon with Jurassic Park. I still can't believe that Aurora didn't take a single point of damage that entire encounter. That was so ridiculous.
See, everyone's scared of the Tarrasque, but they're really not.
I know, it's one of those things that they're in legend and mythos and whatnot. They're a lot more scary than what they are practically. It's kind of disappointing, to be honest.
Yeah, like you could probably double its attacks and it would be closer to what you really need.
I have actually seen rules for a Mega Tarrasque. It actually has a lot more hit points and it's scaled up to the height that it's supposed. That, like when people talk about the Tarrasque in legend as this creature that dwarfs buildings in shadow, this is what this description is actually more designed to be. It's part of the Tarrasque task of Morgan Trask, where you actually go inside the Mega Tarrasque in order to retrieve magical items and 2 companions that have been eaten by it before it regenerates. So you've actually got to crawl all the way through the interior of the Tarrasque. It's actually a pretty funny one-shot, actually. I've got
yeah, so this tower has a couple of gates. I think it has one to Icewind Dale. Oh yeah, this is another thing about the adventure. This is the first place you get an actual picture of all 7 apprentices.
Ah.
Or actually, I think there's ones in Dweomercore as well, the level that they will let you skip.
Right.
Easily. Hogwarts. And
yeah, the gate to Icewind Dale and the gate to Tribor.
Oh, this is also where the living wish spell lady who's trapped in the gates, she lets you know in the room before you meet Halaster that you're about to meet Halaster. Take a rest here.
Take a rest, right? So the game actually says, yeah, you better quick save here before you go in.
Yeah.
Drink your health potions.
And then you get to the final fight, which is literally Halaster plus Empyrean fight.
Right.
He has no glyphs. He has no traps. There's nothing. He is a wizard. His legendary actions, I basically made them twice as powerful. Because his legendary action amounts to spend a spell slot to get 5 hit points per level of the spell. Which, it's not very much, but it's only a spell slot, but he runs out of them really quickly.
Yeah. I mean, he's not just have unlimited spell slots. The way that you
actually cast a spell, but only up to 3rd level.
The way you ran it, I thought was really good. The fact that the room was covered in glyphs of warning, because that's definitely something that a wizard would do. And then just cover the room and just buttons is like just push everything, make all the spells work.
Yeah, and then they gave Halaster the wish spell, but you can't use it because it's not a DM. It's not good to use as a DM spell unless it's copying a spell, I think.
Yeah.
Or for plot reasons. And I did use that as plot reasons. It's basically, if anyone ever asked, how did Halaster do that? Wish.
You wish. Yeah, he chose to. Yeah, he's just that good. Yeah. It's kind of like power word kill in that same. It's like, stop breathing. Oh, shit. Dead.
And then... What's it? There was after Tarrasque Park and the other thing. Oh yeah, you fought the Elite Four. That was just fighting old characters and the
we fought 2 of the old characters plus the two apprentices.
Oh, we did the elemental planes thing.
Yes, falling through the elemental planes. That was a pretty cool trick as well. I really did enjoy that. But yeah, and then of course my second favorite item in the whole encounter, the flying saucer. So, because I am fairly certain that they were watching Rick and Morty at this stage, and so they added the flying saucer in, made Halaster Rick. So,
yeah, they might have. Happened. So.
It's like the only reason I can think of to have specifically a flying saucer. It's like the only reason I can think of for that, but. Yeah, but I'm actually reading this. It's immunity to poison and psychic damage. It's not airtight, so it says it's not airtight. So
I didn't realize that.
So it can't actually fly.
It's just a 4-word sentence. It is not airtight.
It is not airtight. Full stop. Provided it has 50 or more hit points remaining, it can be repaired as follows. Casting Mending or Tinker's Tools. And it has the ability to teleport to different dimensions. So it can travel to different planes, it just can't fly in space.
Well, teleport doesn't even go anywhere. It specifically goes to Waterdeep.
Well, it's a play. It's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more of a go home button.
It's a go home button, but even so, I like that you just said it's just a plane of craft that we can take and go spelljamming with. So that's what we ended up doing. Yeah. I also liked your conclusion with the fact that the weave wanted to be.
Yeah. So it's kind of a mix. The companion has a conclusion that I think is actually really, really good.
Yeah, so just for the viewers out there that don't know what we're talking about, the way that Fynn ended the campaign for us was that once Halaster was destroyed, the knot in the weave appeared, and it everyone basically had to, anyone who wanted to could touch it and vie for control to become the new Mad Mage, which one person did at one stage, and then he disappeared. To be reborn as the Mad Mage, and we all left. So that was basically where the campaign ended. But
as written, it would be just you killed Halaster. Great. You have 5 minutes before his tower explodes. If it explodes while you're in it, you're scattered across the astral plane in different places.
So that's definitely where the flying saucer will be useful. Fuck! Get us out of here!
Oh yeah, and 1d10 days later, Halaster respawns.
Yeah,
and just rebuilds his tower.
Resets everything. Cool. Next group.
It basically just says he's like, "Good job, you win."
Yeah, good job, you win. I'll be back later on. Yeah.
It does say if you want, you can have Jysira, the living wish spell, try to take control.
Right.
It says, does she succeed? That's up to you.
That's up to you.
Which is great and all, but she's not been in the adventure. And because I didn't do that, I couldn't use the companion's post-credits scene that I think is really good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll abbreviate it. So she just is walking through. Oh, I like this line. One by one, the gates fell. One by one, Halaster's grip, desperate at best, was undone. His phantom fingers uncurled from the hilt of Undermountain's soul.
Ooh, that's nice. That's
she
poetry.
Could already hear him reforming, his essence kindling in the crucible below. He was powerless to stop her. And then later, she makes a new throne in Arcturia's court to sit where she'll rule.
Oh, there you go.
Halaster was mewling again. Jysira closed her eyes and willed his rebirth to end, as if she was snuffing out a candle. He fought her, to his credit. He fought her even then, weak as he was. She pressed her will on the flame, ignoring its fetal rage and the burns it left upon her. With an apocalyptic cry, the Mad Mage was no more. And as she now surveyed her new kingdom, a soft giggle exploded from her chest, a maniacal giggle that shared all the lunacy that graced her grin and her mad eyes. Well, master, she murmurs, the show must go on.
I like that one. That's really good. All right. So, well, we've already done sort of complaints and how you would run it. I guess the only other bit, just as a little epilogue to this bit here, is favorite magic items. You've already talked about the heart trap.
Yes. This is time for another complaint. Dungeon of the Mad Mage, unlike, as far as I know, every other 5th edition adventure, does not keep its magic items in an appendix. It puts them where you need them.
Oh, right. That's a bit of a pain.
Yeah, so to be honest, I can't remember them because of that. I can't look at them.
Right.
I guess Tarrasque is the most memorable, so it's probably Tarrasque.
Yeah. I think like that and the just for because I love them so much. Tarrasque, but of course the Wand of Wonder that's actually alive. Just for that one round, it casts that one spell, and then just goes clunk. So all right. Well, I think that was a pretty comprehensive run-through on the Dungeon of the Mad Mage. A bit longer than I was actually expecting us to go for, but hey, we went right through the whole Actually, if I remember, one thing I was going to talk about too, one thing you were talking about is the time. Actually, you were talking about the length of the adventure, because being inside the dungeon, it almost feels like you progress too quickly through it. Like it only takes you like a week to get, or even like maybe a couple of days to get from the top to the bottom. Maybe like you were saying, probably recommend running it in a way that the rests work differently. That was
so they're called gritty realism rules in the Dungeon Master's Guide, and I think any dungeon crawl should use them if they can. I'm really starting to think actually every adventure should use it, because it makes more sense, especially with milestone leveling.
Yeah.
Because I think if you were using XP, you wouldn't level up as fast just by virtue of it's slower.
Yeah.
You have to actually be killing monsters, and that means you have to be taking rests, which means you have to be taking time.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time, people don't kill enough monsters per day. Like the Dungeon Master Guide claims that the game was designed for 8 encounters per long rest. I don't know anyone who runs that many encounters in a long rest.
No, absolutely not. The party refuses to go through 8 encounters. But I need a long rest now. So
We give up.
Yeah, can we just go to sleep now? You've only been awake for an hour. I know, but I'm tired.
I have 4 hit points.
All right. Well, on that note, I think that's where we'll leave it. Oh, one quick thing too. What? You're mentioning the companion. Do you have a link to the companion, or can you tell people what it is called if they wish to use it? Because
I think a link which you can magic up on the screen.
Yes, it's up there now. So this is a link to the.
So it's called Dungeon of the Mad Mage Companion Complete Edition. Is the all 23 levels plus Skullport, which we actually didn't talk about, but it's a city. It's not much more.
But yeah, that's in and that's not an official thing. It's just someone made that up. Yeah.
It's a DM skill. Oh, it's a platinum seller. That's okay. Lots of people use it.
There you go.
I've been using it the whole time. It's written by Wyatt Trull.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually been doing them for a lot of adventures. I've been referencing it for Icewind Dale as well.
Oh, very good.
He's in the process of writing that one.
Oh, very good. We'll have to have a look. Might even go through some of his companions in a later Beyond the Screen. But yeah,
they'd be good to review. He actually, for this one, had a whole thing I didn't use. I used a lot of elements of it in Obstacle Course, but he has a version where you run the whole dungeon as a demented game show. The whole thing.
Nice. That'd be cool.
Definitely could be quite the fun game.
I could definitely see that happening. That'd be a lot of fun. All right. Well, for now, that is where we will leave it. Thank you, Fynn, for joining me and running us through the Dungeon of the Mad Mage, because I really wanted to do this, but you had actually run it as a DM. I'd only ever run it as a player, and there's a lot of different bits that you can tell us literally from beyond the screen in this aspect. So I was on the other side of the screen for this one. So I thank you for running us through it. Any final words?
Thanks for having me.
Sorry?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you are quite welcome. And until next time, everybody, remember to keep on blending. Bye!